What's up, guys? Welcome back. If you're new here, please hit that red subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube, and if you're hanging out on Twitch, it's a purple button and it says follow. So if you're watching us on either one of these platforms live right now, please hit one of those two buttons. Red if you're on YouTube, purple if you're on Twitch. One thing I want to talk about real quick is we are also on all the audio platforms as well. You should see it in this graphic here. Literally, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio. If you guys listen to podcasts on a platform and you notice we're not on that platform, hit me up on social media, email me, whatever. Make a comment on the YouTube. Let us know, because I want to make sure that we can have the podcast on the audio side wherever you guys listen. I also have some announcements to make. I'm super excited about this. Last couple months I've been super hard at work trying to get this album done for you guys. And the people who are going to get first access to this, I put the link right here. That's going to be the people in the Patreon. So make sure you guys are aware of that. Go to patreon.com/JaredSingerLive. You get first access to everything as we start doing some cooler and cooler shit this summer, as well as bonus content, discounts on merch and stuff like that as we start to roll all that kind of stuff out. So make sure you go there. That's where the biggest supporters. If you've already subscribed, if you've already done that and you want to step it up a notch, you can join for as low as $3 a month. It's not a lot of money, especially with inflation going up. I didn't raise my prices. Still $3 a month. And there's a couple other tiers in there too if you really want to go crazy. All right, we got some ad reads we got to make. Let's get this done. This episode of the podcast and every podcast we do here is sponsored by Tone Vault Audio and Media. Tone Vault Audio and Media was formed as a recording studio business by musicians in active gigging bands. Doing work over the years in multiple facilities as well as in a mobile fashion, simultaneously while playing in live gigging bands, the Tone Vault staff has developed the experience to know why quality, performance, and longevity of cables is important, as well as the demands needed for a great go-to top-of-the-line product for all your professional project needs, as well as live music application. We tried all kinds of cables, and of course we have our favorites. They, however, tend to have a price point that's not so favorable. So we decided to craft our own and make it a little bit more wallet friendly without sacrificing quality. We use these cables ourselves for our studio and music projects, and that includes me. My entire drum set is wired up with these, and we're currently in the process of rewiring the entire podcast studio. They offer a lifetime warranty with a 30-day, zero-risk, money-back guarantee. If you don't like them within that first month, just return them. After that 30 days, it's a lifetime warranty, just like any of the other big names. 24 karat gold contacts, 99% oxygen free. You know the deal. They're absolutely phenomenal. Extravaganza listeners can also use the code 15SINGER, that's 15SINGER, for an extra 15% off any purchase. So go to www.tone-vault.com/JSE and join the Tone Vault family today. This episode of the podcast is also sponsored by Marco V Cigars, the official cigar of the Jared Singer Extravaganza. In 1909, an Italian immigrant named Victor Vito landed on American soil. Despite only having pennies to his name, Victor smoked a cigar to honor his pursuit of opportunity and success. Starting with that first cigar, a tradition was born. In the Vito family, cigars came to represent pride in accomplishments and optimism for the future, and they still do. More than a century later, Victor Vito's great-grandson Marco honors his heritage with Marco V Cigars. Marco and his team's commitment to quality, flavor, and construction have established the company as a premier boutique cigar brand. Every step in the Marco V cigar making process is shaped by a drive for perfection. Farmers in the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua tend to their crops by hand, and the planting, harvesting, and curing are carefully guided by Marco V's tobacco experts. Dedicated research and testing have resulted in a leaf that cures with a rich, complex flavor. Each blend is aged for years to enhance the tobacco's deep natural sweetness, and every bale is inspected 6 times before the cigars are rolled by hand, never put through a machine. Quality still comes from the hands of the artisans. After a final inspection, the cigars are packed and shipped around the world. Overseeing the entire supply chain guarantees that every Marco V cigar yields the perfect celebratory smoke. Victor Vito's 1909 cigar represented pride in himself and his achievements. More than a century later, Marco V honors Victor's legacy with the highest quality cigars on the market. Create your own tradition, salute your achievements and your successes with Marco V cigars. Exclusive for Jared Singer Extravaganza listeners, just for you guys, same deal, baby. Go to marcovcigars.com and use checkout code Extravaganza15 to get an extra 15% off of your order. You can order my personal favorite, which is their Palladium, or you can order what I'm smoking on right now, which is their Maduro House Blend. Extremely affordable to begin with, and y'all get another 15% off this motherfucker. That fucking intro is so goddamn loud, dude.
It is.
It's so fucking loud.
Wow.
I mean, hey, man, I haven't been doing this for a while, so I knew there was going to be some sort of kinks to work out. Cheers, buddy!
What's up?
We're officially live, dude.
Yeah,
Glad to have you.
Fucking behemoth Bloody Mary.
That's a bar quality Bloody Mary.
No, it is. It's like a Wisconsin Bloody Mary.
Oh, it's fucking good, dude. Beef sticks legit. That fucking thing, I think it's called a Rolltini's legit.
Mm-hmm.
This is a garlic and jalapeno olive legit.
Yep.
Oh, man.
All good shit. It's the only reason I came, because I knew you were going to feed me and get me drunk.
Well, I appreciate you flying all the way from California just to do my podcast. There's no other reason that you're here in town.
Nope. This is it. This is the one, man.
Oh, I'm excited to have you here, buddy.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm supposed to be here in the fall, but shit happened.
Well, without kissing your ass, it does mean a lot for you to be here, because I remember shortly after I started the podcast, I was really fucking discouraged. Something that's actually pretty common for new YouTubers and shit, and I was no exception, obviously, where you just get discouraged because you're like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, who gives a fuck what I have to say, or my friends, or, you know, it's like nobody's watching this fucking thing. It gets really, really dark for a lot of people, and I was one of those people. I didn't have this blind confidence that, oh, it's going to work. I'm going to be Joe Rogan someday. It's like, it's never really been that. It's more like, fuck, man, I wish it was bigger. I wish more people were interested. But
yeah,
nonetheless, I was fucking like blackout drunk. And I was literally on the page getting ready to delete my account one night.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden you texted me or Facebook messaged me, one of the two. You're like, hey, man, I'm a big fan of your podcast, dude, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, really? Because you're an actual professional, you know? You were on the radio, dude. You've done some really cool fucking shit. So for you to say you were a fan of something that I was doing in your field, it'd be one thing if you were like, I'm a fan of your band, you know? Because, like, okay, cool, that's easy to do. But it was a huge honor for you to say that. And it kept me going, you know? It gave me enough confidence to keep going. And it is what it is. But I really appreciate you, brother.
Well, yeah, no, thank you. And I was... I was in California, and so I kind of miss a lot of things here. And, you know, I saw that you were interviewing some of the bands back in the day that we all hung out with and did stuff with. So, yeah, and then I was like, you know, you were pulling off the long form thing, and I was like, okay, you know, you seem to have a lot of knowledge about things and not just music, but, you know, there's some interesting conversations there that I kind of got into. And so, yeah, I kind of just, I think I saw the first one with Moog from Black Flag Diesel, and I was like, oh, what's this? And I watched it, and then I went back in your history, and I saw a few others, you know, Wally from Skywind and all those guys too. So, yeah, I just started watching them, and then, yeah, I just hit you up one day, and the timing is weird because, like, you were thinking about giving up, and I don't know, I just thought I'd say, hey, and I like your shit.
It's cool, man. And I really do appreciate it. It meant a lot, and it still helps me to this day, like, when I'm like, oh, because people have asked me, like, what's going on with the podcast? And it's like, listen, man, I'll do a fucking podcast if somebody wants to do one with me. Mm-hmm. But I've pretty much talked to everybody I want to talk to in my immediate circle, people I have direct access to. So I'm still reaching out to certain people, but they don't really know me. They blow me off, or I'm not big enough on Instagram, so I don't make it through, you know, like shit like that, you know, whatever it may be. But nonetheless, like, I'm not done with the podcast. I hope everybody understands that.
Okay. Yeah, because you've been just gone for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I had to get some shit done. But I'm actually, what's really happening is I'm looking at LLCing, and, well, technically I've already started the LLC process. Dude, those are fucking good. All that shit's good in there, dude. It's all fucking good. But I got to get after some shit and get some shit done because I want to move into a professional studio and do it right. I want to get out of my house, and I had to get some things in a row, some ducks in a row in a certain order, you know?
Yeah.
It's all money-related bullshit, but got to get some fucking... I'm trying to, like, explain this without talking about it, without also sounding pretentious and, like, pretending it's bigger than it is, because it's not that big of a deal, but it is a lot of bullshit that I don't really want to talk about or put out there until it's final, so...
Yeah.
But the point is, we're getting a studio, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
We will do a few podcasts here and there if people come into town and they want to do one, or if one of these other people reach out. Like, and same thing, if fucking Clay from The Issues, like, hey man, we got a new single coming out, I want to come on and promote it on the podcast. No problem. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
But what I'm not going to do is continue to harass my friends and buddies, like, hey man, I got to fucking do a podcast this week. Can you please come hook me up? Come on, man, my other guest canceled on me. I don't want to do that.
And it's harder for you because you started with no vehicle to get you launched, so to speak.
Right.
Like I got 93X in my corner, so if I still worked there, it would be super easy because you just go on the Twitter account of 93X and say, hey, Patrick's got a podcast. And then boom, you got instant fucking,
Yeah, exactly.
you're generating interest. But for someone that just starts ground up, it's, getting that first 10 listeners or subscribers is like, that's like 1,000.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's huge just to get 100. And then you got to grow it and grow it and grow it. It's tough if you don't have, a huge platform to, to broadcast from. So,
yeah, I think the only other thing you could do if you didn't have that, right, like the 93X style thing, I think the only other thing you could do or hope for would be like
get Joe Rogan on yours and promote that way. Like
that would help. But I'm thinking more like if you have like a niche podcast, right? So like true crime or we talk about like if I only did music and really focused on music and like brought more. But I'm burnt out on that shit, dude. Like, you can only have so many conversations about music that are actually intriguing, and it's just not a way to do it, right?
Right, yeah.
You could do like a half-hour podcast on just music. You could even probably do 1-hour episodes on just music and just really go deep on one thing.
Yeah.
But then you're probably going to end up doing a lot of editing, and that's not what I want to do. I wanted to do something unedited, something raw, something very much like Joe Rogan.
Free form. Just
long form. Yeah, it is what it is. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it this way. And
yeah. And I dabbled in it, and, I did one podcast, so I was like, well, Jared's doing it, and here I'm just, I'm not broadcasting anymore. If anyone doesn't know, I left California in 2011. I did work for a radio station out there for 5 years. And then in 2016,
So you went out there and immediately got another radio job.
Yeah, there was an opening at the station I had applied for before we moved.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, and so I never heard back from the guy. It was a brand new alternative station in Sacramento, and they were looking for a assistant program director,
like alternative music.
Yeah.
So like
the Edge.
What did we call it? Yeah, the Edge, No Doubt, that kind of shit.
Yep. So I went out there.
311.
Yeah, and so my ex-wife was in a meeting because she was in television, and the program director that was hiring was in this meeting with her, and she said, hey, you might know my boyfriend. He applied for your station. And he's like, well, what's his name? And she said, Patrick. And so he called me like a day later and said, yeah, I got your package, and I met your girlfriend and, all this. And he called me in for an interview, and he's tough to work for. So, but the interviewing process was a little tough too. But I got the job. So I did that from 20.
What made the interview process weird?
Oh, well, he sent me like this 3-page questionnaire about my radio knowledge and just what would you do in this situation? What's your philosophy on programming station with this type of music, and how do you connect promotions with on-air content and
this isn't normal for that job position?
It probably is, but I've never been sent a questionnaire like homework. Fill this out and email it back to me, and then maybe I'll talk to you. Like, I get why he did it. Is he just wanted to see how many hoops you jump through, how bad you really wanted it.
Okay.
So, I get that. It's kind of like a process of elimination. You weeding out the weak ones. But at the time, I was applying for Home Depot jobs and shit. Like, I had nothing.
Really?
I literally left 93X with no plan, and about $1,000 and my girl. But I got the job in 2011, and that lasted till 2016. And it was off. I was off the air. It was a jockless radio station, which is kind of cool.
You didn't say anything?
No. I programmed the station. Like I picked the music and met with the record labels and all of that. So it was interesting, and it was something new for me. But I'd done, produced my own loud and local show, and so that was helpful. But I did some commercials and things, but nothing too on air. And I went by Cooper.
Really?
Yeah, they already had a Pat. They had a Pat Martin. He's still on the air. And I think he's been there 30 years on the 98 Rock was the station. Now he works for the classic rock station, the Eagle, in the same cluster. But they had a legendary Pat. But I couldn't do Pat or Patrick, so I had to pick a name. So I just I picked Cooper.
Is that your middle name?
No.
You just picked it out of nowhere?
Yeah. Well, my boss, when he hired me, he said, "You need a new name. Email me some suggestions." And so I was just thinking, like I said, I'm like Rick or Patrick. My middle name's Alan. And I was just kind of thinking, what's kind of a cool not too hip or not too old of a name. You know, what fits, like, you know. So I came up with Cooper, you know, and he was like, "Yep, I like that one."
Interesting.
So I became Cooper. Cooper 94.7.
So is that one of those things where you need something kind of unique? Because, like, is Remy really Remy Maxwell's name?
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. I don't know about
so that one's not made up.
No,
his name's not like Charles.
No.
You know what I mean? And they were like, "That's fucking boring."
Yeah, no.
Is there a Vince McMahon over there? Be like, "Your new name is, and here's your character, and here's your shtick."
Yeah. There's those dopey radio names. There's, you know, some guy named Justin Case, and it's like, go fuck yourself. That's so stupid. I hate
that's
those.
Actually kind of funny.
I hate those names, though.
It's bad, and that's what makes it funny.
Yeah, and you know, even when I was just Patrick, you know, you can go back to X105 and 93X days, you know, I was like trying to think of something clever, and you know, my boss at the time here was kind of like, "Look, we already got a fucking Weasel, we got, you know, Tijuana Josh, we got Nick Danger, just be Patrick, man. Just you can stand up by being the fucking normal one." And I'm like, okay,
Dead Eric,
Dead Eric, yeah. So, but yeah, the radio thing in Sacramento was good, and then it was bad, and then I was looking for jobs while I was at work at the radio station. I was looking for state jobs because state jobs are the shit out there. So, but I was looking to get out of that station and that situation. It was like,
by the shit you mean like really good, like you get paid well and good benefits and shit.
Yeah, for the state, yeah.
For working for the state.
Opposite of what radio was at the time, because he was like, I got a 2-year contract there. It was okay money, and then the second contract was for the beginning of the 3rd year, and it was about just the same. He's like, "Sorry, I just can't give you a raise." And I was like, "Okay, I'll just continue with what I was making." And by that time, I was starting to hit a ratings bonus, so I was getting extra money. Our station was finishing in the top.
I gotta fix something. Keep going.
Yeah, I was finishing, so we were still competing in the Sacramento market, and we were like top 5, you know, 18 to 34-year-old people. So there's these categories in radio. It's, you know, persons 18 to 34, males 18 to 34, females, all that shit. But we were doing really well, and I was hitting like $2,500 every quarter. So I was getting, you know, an extra 10 grand. So I was like, okay, we'll just keep the same deal. And then the last deal I was offered was actually, we're changing your bonus structure because you're hitting it too easily. And they changed it to something impossible.
Fucking cocksuckers.
Yeah, and I literally was losing $10,000 a year, and they weren't going to up my base salary. So I just kind of sat there as long as I could. I just knew I'm going to play this chess game, and I know I'm probably going to fucking lose. Because one day they're just going to say, if you're not signing this contract, get the fuck out. And that's what happened. So
really?
Oh, yeah, no, it just... I think
that's crazy. That's like, I don't know how many industries operate on actual contracts outside of sports.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
It's incredibly rare. But that industry, that's a standard thing. Like I don't think it happens right away when you're new.
Yeah.
At least I don't know. And you tell me, because I'm just piecing together shit from things I hear on the radio from the people on the radio. But like, yeah, it sounds like the new guys aren't under contract. They just get paid like an hourly wage or whatever.
Yeah.
And then once you're like officially a part of a show, and I'm taking more K-Fan as my kind of frame of reference, like once you're officially on the morning show, or you're officially doing 9 to noon with PA, whatever, then they give you some version of a contract.
Yeah.
Because I hear Common fucking talk about negotiating that shit all the time.
Oh,
I'm surprised that guy has a fucking job, dude. I mean, I kind of
He's still on the air.
Yeah, dude.
I liked him. I thought he was fucking goofy and funny, and
some of his bits are good
stuff,
and some of his bits are really funny.
Mm-hmm.
But some of that shit is fucking 30 years old, dude, and I'm over it. And it's like, yeah, and then he like does comedy and shit too, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, the contract thing's weird because it doesn't really protect you as the radio guy. It protects the company more, and they can always just tear it up and fire you. It's kind of fucking weird, but yeah. I don't know what radio's like now. I mean, I'm kind of glad it happened the way it happened. I knew that I was going to ride that horse as long as I could until it bucked me, and it did. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for, you know, even the Sacramento stations and the people I worked with there, and the opportunity my boss gave me to be the assistant program director out there. But you know, I had a lot of cool experiences, met a lot of cool people, did a lot of cool things. Like, but the environment now, it's, you know, it's a shrinking industry. It's just a bad economic setup for them, and the only way that you can, if you're not hitting revenue goals, pretty much the only thing you can cut is people. You know, the guy making 100, you could fire him and then hire someone newer, for 40, and there you go. You're still filling the same seat, but what probably is happening is, the talent is going down. So you're hiring new people that don't have that experience, and then the quality of the product starts to suffer, and then now you've got an average sounding radio station, but you're meeting the bottom dollar, and that's not how radio used to be. It was so much better, but yeah, anyone that's still doing it, I'm glad, do your thing. But as a full-time gig at my age, 2 kids, all that shit, there's just no stability there. So
I think, honestly, I love KFan.
Mm-hmm. I love it too.
Sports talk radio, I love it. But I still believe like the future of radio is exclusively music. Like it's I just don't see that nobody likes it anymore. Like a lot of podcasts about sports do better numbers than KFan does. A lot of podcasts about anything do better than any talk radio show, including Howard Stern now. Like Joe Rogan crushes Howard Stern.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the long term. Same thing with like cable TV, Netflix, all of these. I think as far as the streaming services, a couple of them will survive, and I think it's going to be the providers, right? So like I think Apple TV will survive. Why? Because they literally have their device in everybody's pocket, right?
Right.
I think Disney Plus will survive because they're the provider of Disney Plus, right? Like they're making all that content true.
Right. I was gonna say, yeah, they're producing Star Wars spin-offs and shit like that.
Same thing with so I think Amazon will continue because they have a Fire Stick. They have a device. They're a provider. And that's what I mean by provider. Same thing with Comcast. Comcast has a whole fucking cable TV network, right? So they can survive those things. But like Showtime, Paramount Plus, they're going to have to team up with somebody. And it's gonna be like everything else. It's gonna come down to a few, like the big 4 or 5 streaming services. The fact that everybody has a streaming service now and they all want $5 a month, everybody knows that's a stupid idea. Nobody can afford that, so we all rotate, right?
Yeah,
I think similar thing's gonna happen like that with radio.
Well, yeah, and because
it's
so
just
fragmented and everything.
And it's censored.
Yeah,
and it's so corporate, and it's like guys are getting fired because fucking dumb shit. Like, remember when fucking Dubé developed a meth problem?
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, if he had his own thing going, he could have just kept doing meth, and we all would have gotten great baseball coverage.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that guy.
He did meth.
I was, yeah, I know, but he came back and then fucked up again, and then he, I feel.
And then
bad
he went
for
and
him,
worked somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then he got in trouble again.
Yeah.
And now he's working somewhere else.
I suppose.
I just heard about him recently.
Yeah, I went through a little mini sober phase back in the day, and he was doing that shit too. But yeah, it's like I wasn't doing the meth, but Jesus Christ, I felt bad for him because he was such on the mountaintop as far as KFan. And I'm glad you brought that up because when I was here, I mean, all the KFan staff were quite cool. Like we had some gigs where I was, at a bar or restaurant, and they had a new promotion coming in. I was going out, so all those guys back in the day were really cool, but they were just like an AM station, AM 1130 KFan. Now they're on FM, right? And they are top of the ratings. It's like, and so is 93X. Shit, when I left, we were lucky to hit top 5, which was good for us. But they're like, for men, we were dominating. But for
you're talking about the half-ass morning show,
for 93X overall, the station itself. But I would guarantee, I would guess that the half-ass morning show is number 1 now since Bernard's.
I think Power Trip's number 1, but
okay,
for morning shows,
yeah,
I think it's Power Trip, but it doesn't really matter.
But 93X and KFan have just escalated to the top of the ratings here, so that's been cool to watch. I still do pay attention to that stuff. I got like the inside radio. There's like internal industry magazines and emails, updates and things like that. So I still follow when the ratings come out. I'll flip around and see what's doing what in what city. And I got friends that are in Chicago or New York, LA. So I like to see how those stations do. And then I always check Minneapolis and all that.
You know what's interesting about Minnesota radio, Minneapolis radio, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We don't have anybody doing the dumbass radio voice. Hey, welcome.
Yeah.
We're spinning.
We used to call it a puker.
That's what you call it.
It sounds like you're about to puke. But
why do we not do that here? In every other city, when I went on tour and I'd listen to the fucking local sports stations, listening for sports updates, even they fucking did that shit.
Oh, God.
I remember traveling through Chicago
I don't remember the dude's name, but he's a huge DJ down in Chicago. I mean, huge.
Mm-hmm.
He's like fucking. He's on billboards and shit. I can't remember who it is, but he had that fucking cheesy voice, dude. Like so many radio guys have. Where does the cheesy voice come from in the first place? Like whoever the fuck decided that was a good idea. Like, tell me, like, what is the history and tradition behind the radio voice, and why do people think it's necessary, let alone good?
Well, I think way back when you had like Wolfman Jack, you know, hey, Wolfman Jack, you know, or you had to have a Tom Bernard voice. So in the 50s, 60s, if you had a high-pitched or not a good voice, like not a, hey, it's 9:45 in the morning and you're listening to WWWW. You know, if you
I don't know why that is so funny.
I don't know either.
WWWW.
See, you're already fucking it up. It's W, not
W.
It's like Radio School 101. It's W. If you say W or W, get the fuck out. But
W.
No, but
WWW.
Exactly. I think back in the day in radio and television, you had to be polished. You had to have this sound. You had to have the voice. And then over time, the voice became less important, but the content and how you could entertain. So then you had people that never had a shot because they didn't have that powerful, booming Bernard voice. So to make up for maybe I want to sound cool, they kind of evolved into like, I've got to talk like this. And because it's impactful. But I think it's the quality of the radio in Minneapolis, St. Paul. A lot of the heads, Dave Hamilton at KQ was awesome. My boss was Wade Linder, who worked under Dave, and yeah, just back in the day, you'd play with some of these air checks, and hell no, if they started out with "Hi everybody, it's Hitman Cash," you know, like no, you're gone because it is phony. It's not genuine, and you know, it evolved eventually where. Anyone with not that booming voice could do it, and I think to compensate, they maybe started doing that pukey thing. But TV news people still do it, which is hilarious because they will be on the side of the road going, "I'm so important, and I am talking like this because I am a super cool news reporter, and this is very interesting to everybody."
Well, okay, so that's what I'm kind of wondering, right? Is it like music where? Okay, so when I'm just going to take Metallica. I know this happened before Metallica, but Metallica feels like the most recent relevant thing. In metal music, when Metallica truly got big, right? Basically, everybody who wanted to start a band sounded like Metallica, right? And then when Korn got big, everybody was trying to sound like Korn. And then it's almost like when you're successful, everybody tries to be like you. And then in music, though, because almost everybody is in a band or some sort of collaborative group.
I want to drink this thing, but it feels like a cock and hit my eye. I haven't had a cock in my eye in a long time.
That's why I start eating it from the top and I bring it down. So I can say it is a little annoying, but it's really good. It's fucking good though, dude. It's a good beef stick. Don't waste it.
I know. No, I'm gonna eat that.
That beef stick alone costs $10. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You are rolling it all out for me here.
I'm just kidding. It is good beef stick though. But anyways. My question is, like, I'm wondering if it's like when Walter Cronkite was the man, everybody coming through broadcasting school was trying to sound like Walter Cronkite. So they're trying to put on that voice. Yep. And same thing. Like, I have a feeling that is more prevalent because when you're in music, most people are in some sort of collaborative environment. Even if you're a solo artist, there's other people producing your music and writing your music with you, usually. Okay, not everybody is Prince. Prince is Prince, and everybody else is normal. Meaning even Michael Jackson, the Thriller album, that's Quincy Jones. That's Quincy Jones, man.
Yeah.
You know, fucking Beat It. That's actually Eddie Van Halen. You know, everybody knows this, but some people don't, so, you know, I'm not going to assume everybody knows everything. But my point is even if Michael Jackson was trying to sound like somebody else, it's almost impossible in music to actually do that for two reasons. Number one, nobody wants two of that. We already have that. So you got to do something else, even if that's your biggest inspiration. I don't feel like that's necessarily as true in radio. So like in radio, not you, the proverbial you, would start out with trying to sound like Walter Cronkite, so you do the Walter Cronkite voice, but since you don't have Walter Cronkite's voice, you'd naturally sound like you doing a radio voice.
Mm-hmm.
And that became the standard because everybody on the radio was doing, here we are in the next big.
Yeah.
Casey Kasem is the biggest version of that. I'm Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's fine if that's what your deal is.
Yeah.
But I feel like it just assumed to become the standard. And then for some reason, where I'm going with this to bring it back to where we started this thing, is there's this anomaly in Minnesota here, in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Our DJs don't do that shit.
Yeah.
At any of the stations, no matter what the format is. But it seems, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like it's only here where that's almost a rule. It seems like as a listener, when you get hired on Minnesota radio, somebody is like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Whoever told you that was a good idea in school, stop now and just be yourself.
Yeah.
I don't hear that when I leave the state. When I go to other places, whether I used to be on tour, which has been so long, I should quit saying that. It sounds like I was just on tour last year.
Yeah.
Or I'm traveling with my wife, right? When I go to North Carolina, I hear that on the radio all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's so what is it? Am I right? Is it something in our local culture here where we're like, dude, don't do that?
No, I think it's a quality of the broadcaster. So the higher the market you go, you don't hear that shit in New York, LA, Chicago, Dallas, Seattle, all the the bigger stations. But once you get out of that, if you go to St. Cloud, you're going to get it. You're going to hear it in St. Cloud. You're going to hear it in Duluth. You're going to hear it in Brainerd. But
is that what kind of holds those guys down to those smaller markets?
Yeah. They're never going to get a major market job. And if that's their bread and butter, that's what they lean on as their talent, they're never going to go anywhere. But that was the hardest part. I'm glad you brought it up because it's like that's the hardest part because you need to, like if I was doing a break on 93X, I would have to be, I would have to project and sound like I'd have to have a delivery. But if you go too far with it, so like if I was doing a break right now, I'd be 93X. This is, I'd be like 93X playing Metallica. We got such and such coming up at 10 o'clock and keep listening for those Linkin Park tickets. Like, so I just kind of push it out like a singer would, right? But so there's a difference there. But if I go a little bit too far and I start doing this, you see how it get, I kind of get a little, but so it's that.
I see.
It's called the sound of experience. It's almost like you just polish and you just have that. So I'm just like talking now. But if I was doing a break on 93X, I'd be a little bit more just punchy, a little punchy, but not too much. So it's a fine thing. But as far as the market goes, I think it's just there's a lot of good stations in town, a lot of good people running the shit here. And Minneapolis, I think it's like market 15, like maybe 14 now. It's based on population.
They used to say it's the third largest radio market in the country.
No.
Yeah. I grew up hearing that about the Twin Cities. And I think the reason, this is my assumption, is that because much like the Vikings, we're the only thing in town until you hit the Rocky Mountains. So like a lot of our stations literally have subsidiaries in Duluth, Fargo, Sioux Falls, shit like that, right? So I think because I'm like, that's impossible because Chicago's right there. Chicago's right next door, and they're way bigger than Minneapolis, so they're definitely a bigger market than us.
Yeah.
But apparently, for the longest time, that's how they phrased it, and I assume they were doing some sort of amalgamation of all these smaller markets and calling it like they were measuring square footage, not population, right?
Yeah,
like, that's what I think.
Or it could be the most time spent listening. So, like in Minnesota, you might spend 23 minutes listening on average, but in New York or larger cities,
might be 12.
It might be less time listening. So maybe we're, if that's the demographic, but it's always been on population. So New York's always been 1, LA number 2, Chicago 3, and then as populations change, so does.
Yeah, which in this case, I think Houston would be 4 then.
Yeah,
fucking that goddamn place is blowing up. Jesus Christ, dude! Dallas
Houston,
is
Dallas,
huge.
Fort Worth, Austin.
Oh my God, Texas has so many people, dude. Like,
there's a large contingency of people leaving California for either Texas or they're going to like Idaho,
Florida,
Utah. Not Florida so much.
A lot of them are in Florida, dude. Because I know a bunch of people in Florida, and they hate the people. It's just like Texas.
Everyone hates it.
Everybody I know in Texas,
like, get the fuck out of here, California.
Exactly. Everybody I know in Florida and everybody I know in Texas are saying the same goddamn thing. Stop coming here and trying to change our politics into California politics. Remember, you left that place to come here.
Right.
So stop trying to make this place into the place you left.
From red to blue.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And honestly, we can talk about politics. We can avoid politics. I don't really care because I'm right in the middle anyways. But I do think that's funny that people have left California for Texas, and then they're not cool with how Texas runs things, and they're literally trying to run for office to try to turn it into California. And it's like, dude, you just left that place. That'd be like me leaving Minnesota and trying to go turn Texas into Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then go back to Minnesota, dude.
California's too crowded, so that's why it didn't work. So we'll try it over here where there's space and people. But, you know.
It wasn't the amount of people. It was the type of people.
Well, so that's what's weird. We talk about California a little bit. Like, I know factually.
You're in the middle, right? You're in Sacramento?
Yeah.
Sacramento?
It's central north, about an hour and a half from, hour and a half from San Francisco.
Sacramento is south of San Francisco? Or
no, it's a little north and east.
Okay.
So it would be like driving from here to Brainerd if you wanted to go.
Oh, okay.
For comparison. Yeah. But last year, I think the population like literally was negative. Like California didn't grow, and it was the first time since they've been keeping track.
Yeah.
And then I think it was something like 48% of Californians are actually Californians, like born and raised. So that's like half of the population, like me, didn't grow up there, didn't go to school there, just came there.
Over half.
Yeah. So, but when I got there, California's population is like 35 million, right? And Minneapolis, St. Paul, 3.5 million.
LA is like 30 million, dude.
No, it's not that high.
Yeah, dude, check this out.
I think it's 25.
I'll look this up, but I promise you, LA has more just LA has more people than the entire country of Canada.
I believe it. But
that's right, I can't pull that up. Somebody, you can fact check me in chat.
But at any rate, so 35 million, and then I came from a place with 3.5 million in the metro area. So a friend of mine, when I got there, he said, the best way to think about it...
Sacramento's 3.5, you said?
No, this Minneapolis, St. Paul is about 3.5 million.
Yeah,
I go to California, there's 35 million people. So my buddy goes, it's about 10 times more in everything. You're going to get 10 times more crazy people, 10 times more shitty drivers. And he was right. It was just like, no matter what you did, everything was like times 10.
Wow.
So like the homeless, times 10. Everything just bigger. It's just bigger out there. It's just, it's more crazy. I've seen some good things in California. I mean, the times 10 with the sun and not wearing... I had to buy fucking jeans to come here because all I have is shorts and sandals.
Really?
Yeah, and I work from home now, too, so I don't need to fucking... I don't have to wear shit if I don't want to, but...
Bro, I go 4 months...
It is true. It's just crazy out there.
I go 4 or 5 consecutive months where under my jeans, I wear a second layer of clothing, like permanently. Like all fucking winter long, I have long johns or thermo... whatever the fuck they're called now. They're not even called long johns anymore.
Yeah, I could take it. I could take it in small doses, but I don't think I could live back here again. I mean, I miss the people and the things, the sports teams and all that. But yeah, man. Jeez.
So you used to be a Chargers fan when they were from San Diego. Are you still a Chargers fan?
I wasn't a Chargers fan.
I thought they were. Oh no. Sorry. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. You adopted your second hockey team is the San Jose Sharks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
What is it like being in California as a sports fan? Because the videos I see on the internet, especially in LA, they don't give a fuck about anything except for the Lakers.
Yeah, like, the Lakers and the Golden State
Rams
Warriors
went to the Super Bowl and they kicked the game-winning field goal to go to the Super Bowl. This was actually several years ago when they first got there.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff was still the quarterback. There was like 7 people in the bar. No one clapped. No one gave a fuck.
It's a lot of huge Lakers, Golden State Warriors. Now in Sacramento, we don't have like anything, but we've got the Kings basketball, right? So that place, now that they're winning, that place is packed every night. It's crazy. Everyone's got, Sacramento Kings fever right now. But they've had long, like Chris Webber was the last guy that brought them to a playoff game. Remember, like the 03-04, the Timberwolves actually played them.
Yeah.
And the Timberwolves won that series.
KG.
And then I think we got smoked by San Antonio. But yeah, so
LA.
Everything it's weird because I'm like a hockey guy, and there's a local bar I go to. It's called The Hub, and they know me quite well. I'm a regular, and so I'll come in and be like, "Can you put the Sharks game on?" And they're like, "No, baseball's on. Sorry." Like they just don't give a fuck. Like they're just nope. And if there's nobody in the place, they'll put it on it, because they have this huge big screen. But sometimes they have to stick it on a little TV in the back. They got some TVs around the But it's just like, yeah, no one actually goes. I think I'm the only guy in Sacramento that requests hockey on the television.
Bro, so I was in Texas, and I was at the Cigars International Bar. Fucking amazing. It's in this town called, I think the actual place was called the Colony. Like, literally, the city is called the Colony.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyways.
Where do you live? The Colony? Like,
the Colony, Texas.
What cult are you in?
Exactly. It probably was that. It probably started off as cult land. But then the cult was like, dude, we can make a lot of fucking money if we sell this land, dude. Let's get rich. Fuck this cult. But I was down there. It's, April or May in Texas. So it's fucking 85 degrees out. There was... I don't think it was March, but it could have been March. There could have been college basketball still going on. But anyways, the Gophers... No. It wasn't even the Gophers. This was just a year or two ago when one of our hockey teams... We had 3 teams in the Frozen Four, and one of them went to the championship, and we lost to Boston. But I was in Texas while that happened. And my point is I was like, hey, can you throw the hockey game up here?
Yeah.
And they were like, what hockey game? And I was like, oh, that's right. I'm not in Minnesota. So
I think it was Minnesota State.
I think it was too. Yeah. We found it. They put it on. Fucking Gophers got some more. But I'm down there screaming at the TV like it's Minnesota hockey, fucking high school hockey tournament.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like super into it. I'm fucking screaming all the fucking northern Minnesota fucking dropping dirty dangles, boys. Top cheese bar. And everybody, there's like 100 people in this bar, dude, and they're all just, I got it on one TV right in front of me, and dude, I got the whole bar staring at me, laughing at me. People are taking pictures. They're like, this Minnesota dude's crazy.
Donnybrook.
People literally came up and talked to me afterwards. They're like, are you from Minnesota? I was like, yeah. They were like, yeah, we can tell.
Yeah, either that or you're Canadian. It's the same, I think, to everyone else. Everyone thinks Minnesota's Canada.
But going back to what you were saying about the radio and shit and getting out there, you were saying like you're really grateful. You met a lot of cool people. You did a lot of cool things. One of the coolest things, and I was a teenager. I didn't know you yet. And I remember Grand Theft Auto had come out, and I'm playing it at my neighbor Sean's house. We are getting baked. Like, I'm 15, I think.
You smoked pot?
We're getting baked out of our minds, right? Yeah. And it was still the single-player thing, so we would take turns playing as this one character, and we'd go through and do our deal. And once you died, you had to give up the controller. But we were still just playing the linear mission going all the way through.
That's what I used to do.
And we're listening to the talk radio stations because the talk radio stations were way funnier and way better than all the other ones.
Now they had Maurice Chavez, and you're listening to Pressing Issues. Now back to gun control and abortion issues.
Laszlo was one of my favorites. But anyways, long story short is all of a sudden we're flipping through, and my buddy Sean, he's like, dude, that's Patrick from 93X. And I was like, who? And he goes, that's our guy. Like, that's from our radio. And I was like, oh, shit. All of a sudden I recognized the voice. I was like, that. So that's one of those things that you have mentioned to me in private conversations where like that was a really cool thing that happened because I was in the radio industry. So even if nothing else happened, that one experience was pretty fucking cool because you were basically in all the Grand Theft Autos up until 4, right?
No, I was only in Vice City and then a little bit in San Andreas.
Oh,
so
really?
Just 2.
I thought you were in a bunch of them. I thought you were in like all of them until they went to the next generation.
And that happened because you just mentioned Laszlo, and Laszlo was the sound engineer for the video game. So he,
oh really?
Yeah, he used to be in radio. I think he was in Kansas City, but he was working for Rockstar Games, and he knew Shelly Miller, who was on Zone 105 in our cluster at 93X there. And Shelly and I were close, and she said, "Hey, my friend Laszlo is looking for jocks to do like video game announcing." And I was like, oh, fuck, that sounds cool. I had no idea what it was going to be. And then it turns out it's Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and I'm like, holy shit. And then Kelly Guest was from Cities 97. She got as my co-host on this public radio station. But yeah, I got faxed a script, and then I went into the studio, and he was in New York or LA putting it together. So I would read lines, and he'd say, no, do that one again. Say it like this, say it like that. And so he wrote all that, put it all together, and then the game came out, and I was just like, fuck, this is bucket list shit right here. Like, this, I could die, man. This is awesome. And it was like one of the best-selling video games. I mean, if you remember when those Grand Thefts came out, they were so controversial, but everyone had to fucking have it.
Oh, of course.
And Vice City was like, it had evolved to where, the gig speeds and the games were much better than like even the year before. So it was like you could get away with having a radio in a car when you're driving it with a hooker that you're going to kill after she bangs you in a alley. Like, that game was so fucking crazy. But yeah, it just made it so that I could have that opportunity, and I did. And then they did the next game, and I was in a couple of ads, but they didn't have the same radio stations, obviously. San Andreas was in L.A., but
Laszlo made it to L.A.
yeah, I think he's still doing well. I think he's probably still putting those things together. So.
He's still in the game.
I think so, yeah.
No, he is.
He is. Okay, I haven't played a Grand Theft in a long time.
Auto 5, like even online, Laszlo is still a fucking... And I think...
That's cool. Call me.
I think at some point, Laszlo made it into the game, like as a character.
Like character. Okay.
Yeah, like if I remember right,
because he was the rock guy on the radio station.
And if I remember right, in one of the games, and it might have been like one of the side ones with like Gay Tony. I don't know if you ever played that one.
No.
So it was like Grand Theft Auto 4, and then they came out with 2 or 3 expansions for Grand Theft Auto 4, and one of them was called The Ballad of Gay Tony.
Okay.
And then there was another expansion where basically you went through similar missions, but you were like on opposite gangs or whatever. I think one was like the Lost and the Damned or whatever.
Dude, I'm getting some heat on this fucking thing now.
Dude,
like it's getting all
pretty
spicy,
good, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty good. You need another beer? Oh, you're still good. I'm gonna grab another beer. Yeah, I grabbed a 5-pepper Bloody Mary mix. I wanted to try it. I think this is probably one of the better pre-made mixes I've tried in a long time.
But so you were saying, what about going back to the Gay Tony thing or the?
I think he became like an actual character that you've seen running around in the game, like more than just a voice on one of the GTA radio stations.
Yeah,
I might be making that up. You guys can
probably
fact check that. Look that shit up. I can't put it in chat. Everything's broken. But
it's all good. But now they use like real movie stars and shit. So when I did that,
they've already gone back away from that again.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, because it's too expensive.
Yeah, because so when I was doing it, I got $100 and a free copy of the game. That was my payment.
Wow,
like, cool. All right, I got a check from Rockstar Games for $100 and a free game, and but I think
that's insane, dude.
Yeah, but the Actors Guild and all those labor unions got a hold of how cheaply they were doing stuff for acting. So something happened where they said, "This is bullshit. You can't just use people off the street and pay them $100. You need to pay actors' rates." And then they said, someone got sued. So they said, "Okay, well, if we have to do actors' rates, yes, we'll just hire actors." So that's why you get Samuel Jackson in fucking games now, and it's like obscene. It's like, holy shit. But yeah, I think they're required to now, or they got in trouble.
Yeah, I think even scale is like $375 an hour.
That would have been.
But yeah, they're getting away from a lot of that shit, to be honest, man. Like even in the streaming shows. So like it's super interesting because basically Hollywood is very much like the music business where it's cyclical, much like football too. Football, the sport of football is incredibly cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I, without going on an hour-long rant, how do I make this point as quick as possible? Basically, what do I mean by football is cyclical? Okay, so there was a period of time where you had to have 2 or 3 running backs in order to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a time in like the early 2000s where you had Brady, Manning, Drew Brees. These motherfuckers were putting up insane amounts of stats.
Yep.
Touchdowns, like it was just fucking crazy. And that started with Dan Marino.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's not like it just happened, right? It's a cycle that rolls over.
Yeah.
And already, and it's not just because those players are retired, right? It's the game has changed.
Yeah.
And now, if your quarterback is throwing 30 to 35 touchdowns, he's one of the best in the league. 30 to 35 touchdowns, those are Brett Favre numbers from the early 90s, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
so now, again, to bring the cycle,
you
need 2 or 3 running backs.
Right.
in order to fucking make it through the season. So it's just, again, they used to say running quarterbacks are the future of the NFL. Well, first of all, that's actually not true. Running quarterbacks are the past of the NFL. You go back to college, which was the bigger game before the NFL, and the option and a running quarterback was the deal, right? And then they figured out how to stop the option, okay? Because how did they figure out how to stop the option, or how did they forget how to stop the option? Well, it's because they had shut it down so well at a pro level that people realized running quarterbacks get injured. Let's teach our quarterback how to stay in the pocket where it's the safest, because we're going to pay all these guys to protect him. Okay, this is your safe space. Stay in the pocket. So running quarterbacks became a thing of the past. Pocket passers became the true pinnacle of sports. So you have generation after generation of defensive coordinators that no longer need to practice stopping the option. They have specialized in stopping the pocket passer. Okay? So now all of a sudden, the future of the NFL, and I'm using quotation marks on purpose, is running quarterbacks because they're hard to contain. It's a second weapon, blah, 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 blah. Well, give it another decade, and you're not going to have Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mike Vick. You're not going to have these guys blowing up anymore. It's going to go back to finding a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady. You're seeing it with Josh Allen. You're seeing it with Lamar Jackson. You're seeing it with Dante Culpepper. You're wearing his jersey right now. These mobile quarterbacks get injured going outside of the pocket. So the ultimate wisdom will again be to, hey, listen, there's 5 guys that we pay millions of dollars to keep you upright, healthy, and safe. Stay here and learn how to throw and read the defense, blah, 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 blah. I feel like Hollywood does the same thing, man. They recycle ideas. It's cyclical. Where am I going with this is like, okay, back in the day in the 50s and 60s, they would put all their money into one lead actor. Okay. That's the name. He's the draw. Let's get Clint Eastwood. Let's get fucking Robert Redford. Let's get Danny DeVito. Let's get whoever. You know, and then it was fucking all the way up to Bruce Willis, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, right? In the action side of things. But it's the lead man, so to speak. He's the draw. He's the name. And then we'll just support him with up-and-coming cheap actors. But then, start looking late 90s through the 2000s. It became about the ensemble cast. Think about Friends, where everybody's making $1 million per episode. This goes through to Big Bang Theory, where everybody is the star. Now, with streaming services, nobody's going to the fucking movie theater anymore. So now you've got like The Last of Us, where really there's one big actor in Pedro Pascal, and everybody else is like known, but they're not big. They're not the huge financial draw. So you've got Nick Offerman showing up. You've got the little girl who played... what's her name from Game of Thrones? That little Lyanna Mormont. She's grown now. She's like 10 or 12, but it's the same thing. So they just keep going through these cycles over and over and over and over and over again. You just got to figure out where you're at in that cycle, and you can kind of see, okay, this is how things are being done right now. And I think Last of Us is like the perfect example of that.
I haven't seen that yet, but it's on my list of things to watch.
Awesome. If you want, especially if you want to like catch it from the beginning, you know, and really ride the wave. There's only 3 episodes out right now, and it's awesome. I did not play the video game. So Me
neither.
If people want to judge
Call of Duty,
me,
it's pretty much my go-to.
If people are already watching the show and they're like, it fucking sucks, it's nothing like the game. Well, I didn't play the fucking game, so I don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking awesome. It looks cool. Last episode was like kind of a tearjerker. I'll just leave it at that, but it's pretty good, dude. You should check it out, man.
I will. I just finished with Walking Dead. I had YouTube TV.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the entire
I haven't finished it.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say though, it sat in my queue of recorded shows because I was recording it off of YouTube TV, just going into my. But I thought it was coming out like in January or fucking February or something, and then like the end of December, I was like, "What's this in my queue?" Like all the final fucking seasons, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" I think I watched all but 2 in one night. I was up till 4 in the morning. That's a bad idea.
That show did get good again.
Yeah.
It really sucked in the middle there.
Yeah.
For like a handful of seasons. There's like 4 or 5 seasons that really suck. And basically for me, tell me what you think. For me, it was as soon as Negan was no longer the main bad guy. Like once Negan wasn't the bad guy anymore.
Negan's a shit though.
The next 3 or 4 seasons were boring as shit until these last 1 or 2. I'm like, man, they kind of got it back.
Alert. No.
But that's all I'm going to say.
But I got to watch that. I got to watch
The Last of Us. It's
Yeah,
dope. It's fucking dope, dude. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. Thanks for the cigars and the lunch. I'll have to eat my lunch.
It is kind of a meal. When you get a good Bloody Mary, it's kind of a meal.
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like it protects
Plus
you
it
from
keeps you from
drunk.
drinking, it keeps you from drinking 4 drinks in an hour. I've been milking this thing for an hour.
Pull that a little closer to you.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Move my fat ass up closer.
The proximity effect. So when you were on the radio, did you ever utilize the proximity effect? Because most people, it's about a fist away, right?
Yeah. I was usually right on it. Just boom.
Yeah, and that like, it matters. It changes the way the sound moves into the microphone, and that's why they call it.
I've just been chewing and drinking, and I was just like, I don't want
to. Dude, I had Wally on. Wally's my boy.
Yeah.
And I had Wally on, and we were doing like a super early morning podcast for some reason. I think it was the only time he could squeeze it in and whatever. So I went to the fucking Hy-Vee and got a box of donuts and a fucking thing of coffee from the Starbucks. I had it here. And he's like, holy fuck, this is awesome, dude. He's like, we can really eat these, like, even on the podcast? I was like, yeah, but while you're chewing, pull the fucking mic away from your mouth, because they won't hear it because of the noise gate. But I hear that shit, dude. And this...
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! You talk about me losing my shit.
Yeah,
dude. Sit down a noisy eater near me, and if I'm in a good mood, I'm just gonna leave. If I'm in a bad mood, I will fucking snap on that person, dude. It's so bad, bro. I think noisy eaters are my biggest pet peeve. What's your biggest pet peeve, especially in public?
Oh god. Probably slow walkers. Like, they're in an aisle at the store, and either they're like in the middle of the aisle with their cart, completely oblivious to anything that's going on around them, and they're just do. I got all fucking day to walk down this aisle, and I'm just trying to get in, get out, and then so you kind of go around them on the left, and all of a sudden they stop and turn left, and you're like, you fucker, and then you go to the right, and they stop and go. And it's like, behind you, excuse me. Oh, sorry. I just hate that.
That's a big one for me. Or slow walkers when they're crossing the street. It's one thing if we're like at the stoplight and they do have the full timer to go. I get that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about that.
You're talking about
I'm talking about random motherfuckers just crossing the street, and I start slowing down.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, bro.
And people don't give a fuck anymore. They'll even do it. The lights, not even, like, the light is turning yellow, and they'll start to walk. Yeah. And then your light turns green, and they're just like right in front of your car, just like, I don't give a fuck. They're going to stop for me.
Yep.
Like, oh shit, I see that a lot too.
Yeah, like, this is a great idea if your plan is to survive the car crash because you're going to sue for insurance money. Then it's a good plan.
Yeah.
But where your plan is flawed is that you can't guarantee you're going to live. Like, there's a very good chance this 300-pound
there's someone that just doesn't give a fuck either driving a car.
Dude, and when I'm driving, all I see are people on their cell phones now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you're walking across the street. You're walking across the street, not looking or caring if a car's coming because you're assuming they're going to stop for you.
Yeah.
But you're also assuming they're not on their cell phone right now, which I see all the time. I'm literally counting down the days before I see somebody get hit by a car because both people are on their cell phones and not paying attention. The driver and the fucking... It's going to happen. And I mean, when I say I'm counting down the days till I see it, I mean personally.
Yeah, like,
because I see that math all the time. I see that math all the time. And somehow,
they got
by the grace of God,
they're looking like this. They're crossing.
Oh my God, dude.
Someone's looking left. No car coming. They turn right. There's grandma. Hopefully not grandma. So it could be anybody. But.
One of the other things that you and I have talked about privately that's pretty cool, and I think both of us have had this perk from different versions of being in the music industry, me being a performer, you being on the radio, is our luck and fortune of being able to meet professional athletes and develop legitimate relationships with them where we can call these motherfuckers and talk to them and shit. It's one of the coolest perks that I never saw coming.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, 14, 15 years old, wanting to be a rock star, thinking I was going to be big time. I never thought, and then musicians like music, so they'll come to concerts and like, hey, can we meet the band? And like, because I've met a couple, they're not big time athletes. It's not like I met John Randall because he liked my band, but there have been times I met like probably half a dozen minor league hockey players.
Yeah.
Because they were out at the fucking club one night, and it's the off season, and they're like, "Hey man, I like your band." You know, you strike a fucking conversation with them. Let me buy you a drink, whatever. What do you do? And he's like, "Oh, I play hockey." Like, "Oh, cool. What do you mean you play hockey?" Like, "Oh, I play for," and then it's some random fucking minor league hockey team I've never heard of.
Yeah,
they play in the OHL, but they're from Minnesota, you know, so they're here in their off season and shit.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just cool.
Yeah, I got to meet
like the coolest or best relationship that you've built, not just the coolest person or most famous person in sports that you've met, but who's like the coolest or best relationship you've built hanging out.
Well, it would either be Paul Martin from hockey or Jim Marshall, the Purple People Eater. Like, and they're not like my tight friends or anything, but so like when Paul was a Gopher, he used to tailgate and go to Vikings games. I think he was dating a cheerleader actually at the time, but yeah, he would show up at our tailgate and say, you know, what's up? And then a guy I worked with at the radio station used to make the mixtapes for the Gophers to practice with. So, you know, this is like 2002, Godsmack and Limp Bizkit. And so they would just want these demos. And so we'd burn these CDs for them to play at practice. So a few of the guys at the radio station got to know the Gophers, and our radio station was actually moved from Golden Valley to Northeast Minneapolis, which is right by where, you know, the school is. So Mariucci's right there. We were like a block away. So we kind of got to develop a relationship with some of those hockey players. And so Paul just kind of hung out at Viking tailgates games, and somehow I got his phone number once. I think we were at the 1029 bar in Northeast. He came in and said, hey, and I think we were going to go golfing or something. So he gave me his number, and I don't think I really called him that much or did anything. And then he got signed and went to New Jersey for play with the Devils. And then along the way, he went to Pittsburgh. And then when I moved to California, all of a sudden in 2012, I see a ticker on the bottom of the screen, and it said Paul Martin signs with San Jose. And I was like, holy fuck, that's right down the road. So I dig through my phone, and sure enough, this contact is still in there, Paul Martin, and his phone number. And I'm like, I'm going to text him just to see if it's still working and if he'll even talk to me. So I said, hey, it's Patrick, 93X back in the day. How you doing? Welcome to California. I just saw the news. And like 10 minutes later, bing, hey, cool, nice. You should come out to a game sometime or something. And I was like, okay. So I didn't really think about anything. And then about a year later, I finally hit him up again and said, hey, I think I want to come over, and, you know, I don't need tickets, just going to come out. Can you hang after the game and have a beer? He's like, yeah, fuck yeah. So we did, you know, and then I went out another time. And then by 2016, he had been injured, and then actually got sent down to the minors, and then they ended up buying out his contract. But that's kind of how it ended for him, and that sucked. But for about 3-4 years, I had like one of those contacts and one of those cool stories, you know, in California, which was helpful because I miss the shit out of Minnesotans, and I miss the shit out of, you know, like the Wild and all that too. But so yeah, that's cool, and I've kept it a little bit in touch with him. I know he's on the Gophers now. He's one of those student coaches. He went back to get his degree because he promised his parents he was going to get a degree. Oh, and he was just shy when he signed with Jersey. So
a graduate assistant, that's what they call it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's doing the defense coaching for the Gophers now. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I didn't see that coming. And then the Jim Marshall thing is like, I think we just hung out at the same bars sometimes and just got to know him over time. And, you know, he was cool. He invited me to his charity golf tournament. He used to do a charity golf tournament every year. So I did my hair, and we went out, and I was like one of the celebrities, which I thought was funny. But Kato Kalin was one of the celebrities as well.
No way.
Yeah.
No way, dude.
So I almost killed him. Yeah. Kato Kalin might not be here today.
Has escaped death twice.
Yes. So I'm on a tee box, and I'm not a good golfer back in this time. And I'm just trying to hit the fucking shit out of the ball every time, just wailing this thing. And so there's another tee box probably 100 yards down and to the right, and they're teeing off this way. I'm teeing off that way.
Just in case anybody doesn't know who Kato Kalin is, explain to the listeners who Kato Kalin is.
He was the house guest that was present during the O.J. Simpson murder of Nicole Kidman.
The blonde
Nicole
dude.
Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, he killed Nicole Kidman too.
Nicole Brown Simpson.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, he was the blonde dude. When
He was the house guest. Like, and he was kind of a surfer dude. Like, what's up, man?
Yeah, he was like a model or something, and he's like the epitome of dumb, pretty blonde dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like him. He is a character in other movies since then. Like, for example, here's a great example. Did you see the female Ghostbusters?
No.
So it's the female Ghostbusters, and then they have a male secretary, and it's Chris Hemsworth, but dumb as shit.
Oh.
That character is Kato Kalin. Like, just in case anybody's not understanding what we're talking about, that's your reference right there. That is Kato. When he was on trial, dude, because some people thought he might have had something to do with it, because how could you possibly sleep through all that?
Yeah.
And then when he got on the stand, people were like,
this guy's a fucking moron.
He didn't have anything to do with it. He's just fucking stupid.
He's a nice guy. He's still out there doing. He was on Johnny Rock, St. Cloud morning show last week or the week before. He's still out there doing something. I don't know, but so
yeah,
I'm
being dumb and pretty.
Yeah, well, it works. He's got it. So I tee off and I slice this fucking thing. It's going right for this group, and Kato's on the fucking tee box, and I went, 4, and I don't think he even heard. Or by the time I said 4, it was like. Shoo! Like I fucking if I would have clocked him in the head, it would have been awful. But
it would have been hilarious if he would have died.
If that would have made news or something. TMZ.
If he would have died at a golf tournament, it would have been fucking hilarious. Man survives brutal murder at the Simpson compound. Dies by random golf ball in Minnesota of all places. Oh fuck, dude, that's funny. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. Continue your story.
No, that's it. And basically afterwards, I said, "Hey, I'm the guy that almost killed dude." He's like, "Hey, fuck, that helmet fucking hit me. It was like this far from my face."
That's funny, dude.
So sorry, bro. That's my Kato Galen thing. I think I tweeted him a couple 3 years ago to see if he still remembered. He actually tweeted me back, but I don't think he remembered. He was just like, "Oh yeah, that could have happened. I was doing a lot of golf tournaments back then."
That's funny, dude.
But imagine that circuit. Like you're famous for being famous, and all you do is appearances. Like you get $500, a hotel room, and a meal ticket. Like, and you just go around doing golf tournaments or like
that's literally
corporate
the dream.
Events and
that's
shit.
The dream. That guy is living the American dream.
Yeah. Who's the moron now? Not us.
He was doing
it, not him.
And he was doing it before Kim Kardashian.
Right.
That's crazy. That is a weird phenomenon, isn't it?
Yeah. Where people just get famous.
You're famous for being famous. Like you don't have any talent. You don't have any skills. And it's funny because somebody could misunderstand one of my messages as the same thing. Because what I say is, I stole it from Bert Kreischer. Because Bert Kreischer doesn't really talk about it very much. I think, especially because he's bigger and the people he fucks with, they're already famous. They're already making it, right?
Yeah.
But for guys that are trying to come up, whether they're in comedy or whether they're in music or whatever, I say monetize your personality.
Yeah.
And how do you do that, right? Well, first of all, what are you good at? What do you want to do? And what are your options in front of you? Get all 3 of those arrows pointing in the same direction, and you'll find something, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's accounting or being a mechanic or being a musician or whatever, it doesn't matter, right? You just get all those arrows pointed in one direction, and then I call them verticals. How many different ways can you monetize this? One is collect a paycheck. So if you're an accountant, go get a job as an accountant. Yeah. The second thing is, how do you further monetize that into another vertical? Okay, start making YouTube videos or TikTok videos with little accounting tricks and things. Here's an accounting tip. Here's this. Here's that. Now all of a sudden you're making an extra $500 a month off YouTube or Instagram or whatever the fuck it ends up being, right?
Yeah.
And then you could even turn around, further monetize that, build your own fucking website, and start teaching people like actual accounting stuff. Because not everybody can afford a real accountant for their small business, but they don't have the time to do everything else involved. So if you can teach me some tricks, because all I got to do is pay like $100 a year to be a part of your fucking website and your fucking your class thing, and you teach me how to do all this shit, like, automate everything with spreadsheets where all I'm doing is basically data entry. I don't even have to audit myself anymore. There's value in that.
Yeah.
You could do this in any version, right? If you're a musician, you could start a dumbass podcast like mine, or you could do fucking instruction videos or lesson videos or fucking tutorials, or those drummer people out there that are like, oh, the tom drummer, the guy who loves cymbals and and they're like impersonation. You can do whatever the fuck you want, man.
Yeah.
But it's monetizing your personality.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're like a geek into like cell phones, even like when I get a new phone, I'm always going, Samsung Galaxy Note 10 tips and tricks. And there's these guys, they get the product for free. They give an honest review. Sometimes they compare it to the new iPhone that's out or the new Samsung. But yeah, if you're like into that, there's a lot of those tips and tricks guys that, not only are they probably making a couple dollars off of the streams, but they're getting free product, man. It's fucking...
and the little guys, the little YouTubers and shit, they don't get free products. They're actually buying that shit.
Oh, really?
And you gotta doing it.
You got to be endorsable, right? Like, you got to have the following, otherwise they're not going to send you shit.
That's exactly. It's not even about your content, your creativity, or your ability. It's just your reach.
Yeah. What's your audience?
How many people are you broadcasting to? Which is why I'm so grateful to have any sponsors at all. I joke about this all the time. I have no business having a single sponsor. People hit me up and they're like, how do I get sponsors? I was like, first of all, I shouldn't have them. So
Right.
I'll tell you how I got them.
Yeah.
You can try to replicate this, but if you don't get them, don't get mad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and that's maybe we'll talk about this now too. I dabbled in podcasting, so I did one podcast, everybody. It was a one-time thing. I did it in I don't know, October. Just wanted to see if I could do it, but yeah, it's on anchor.fm/Spiking Viking, or you can just go to Spotify and search Spiking Viking and it'll come up. But I did one just as a tryout, just to see how I could do it. I think I got like 20, 30, 40 listens or something. So somebody was out there listening to it.
That's pretty good.
That's the first time I was like, shit.
I listened to it. I gave you my critiques.
Yeah, it was pretty, it's hard because it's not like this where we're talking. Like, You've got to fill an hour by yourself. And that's like, fuck, how do you do that? So I was really intimidated by it, but I thought I'd try it to see how I felt about it. And because, I kind of wanted to leave the radio thing or the Spiking Viking in the past, but I keep coming back to it. I think I just got to be like, that's you, man. Just fucking do you, and be comfortable with that. So that's what I was kind of, do I still have even the chops to do a long conversation, even to nobody? So I think I did. I mean, that's just what I wanted to try out. But
it was good, dude. I can't do that. Dude, I try the morning show and shit. And if nobody's in the chat, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Like, there's a few reasons, Sometimes it's fucking 6:30 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But
and you've had him on too, Rudy Pavich, Canadian, old 93X guy too. He does his own.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was afternoons at 93X for a couple of years.
And then he
came in after Remy.
95.
Yeah, he came in after Remy. Then he got let go. I think that was like another, attrition by budget cuts. So yeah, then he went to KS95. But he was smart. He started doing like what you're doing. He started like, okay, I'm going to do some podcasting. I'm going to start comedy writing seriously. I'm going to start doing my thing. And he's been successful at it. But he does a quick podcast where he kind of almost does it like a 5-minute, 10-minute like show where he's got like intro music and people clapping and he's got the sound effects. And he'll just kind of go on Twitter or read news stories like, oh, out of Dayton, Ohio today, somebody threw a bottle at this Chinese balloon floating over their house. So he'll do like just quick, snappy stories. And then
it's called A Long Walk to Cleveland.
Yeah, Long Walk to Cleveland. That's a good one to watch too if you guys are looking for podcasts.
He does that, and he doesn't even do that. Well, actually, I think it is on YouTube. But the main thing is like Instagram. It's live on Instagram.
Yeah.
Every day, I think 9:00.
I think so. I haven't seen one in a while, but yeah. So I know he's doing that thing, but I think I'm gonna get back into it again. So if you guys want to go to Spotify, Spiking Viking, search that, and I'm gonna get some guests, and like we mentioned, Paul Martin. Maybe I'll have him on. Maybe I'll try to get you on, and maybe some of the old crew I kind of want to do like what you do. I want to do. Maybe I'll just start out because the wheelhouse is the Vikings, right? There's always something to talk about. And there's always fans that I can have on. Like Sir Death is one of the guys that I want to have on. Diggs, you had on here. I probably want to have him on mine. But I want to talk to fans. Maybe some players every now and then. But going back to what you were saying, too, about the Vikings or football players or sports meets music.
It was sports because it's one thing to be in the music industry and meet famous musicians. Cool, right? But honestly, man, I think you could probably vouch for this. If you're in the industry, for some reason, musicians aren't impressive. Like, I don't get starstruck when I meet a fellow musician.
Yeah.
No matter how famous they are. Maybe James Hetfield, I would probably fanboy out, like, legitimately, like, freeze up.
I never did.
And I'd probably say some stupid shit, like,
yeah.
I'll lick your asshole. You know, like, I would say some dumb shit, maybe, around James Hetfield. No one else, including Prince. Like, I met Prince. I didn't give a fuck about Prince. I really didn't give a fuck about Prince. I literally seen him and I went, oh, hey, what's up?
Yeah, yeah. But it's like same with 93X. I would fill in for the morning show sometimes, and sometimes we'd have guests on.
Sports is more interesting though because it's not in our deal. That was my point.
Yeah. But with 93X though, they usually have like the football. They have a Viking on in the morning show. So like it was Matt Burke for many years. They have a Wild player on usually, so that was Zach Parisi for many years.
Oh really?
Yeah. But through those, I mean, we used to have Kylie Wong. And so this is like 2000 era Vikings. Yeah, he is a linebacker, but he liked going to concerts and shit. So our station would hook him up with, I think, Metallica Kid Rock concert. He's there. I'm hanging out with Kylie Wong for the fucking Vikings. And I was wearing this shit too.
I think I went to that show. It was Kid Rock,
4 days.
Seven Dust.
Yeah, they did it for 4 days.
It was Seven Dust, Kid Rock, Metallica.
Yep.
It started off as 2 nights that sold out within like literally 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because this is before the real internet was even a thing.
Yeah.
Internet existed, Ticketmaster existed on the internet, but still people called in and people showed up and camped out the night before to buy tickets. And so they opened up a 3rd night. That sold out within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So they were like, should we do a 4th night? And this was the Thursday night. Because it was it was Friday and Saturday originally. Then they opened up Sunday, and they killed so hard on Sunday. They were like, "Fuck, should we do a Thursday?" and they sold out the Thursday 4 nights in a row. Was this at the Metrodome?
No, it was at Target Center.
It was at Target Center. Yeah. It was at Target Center. I remember this was my first Metallica concert, and I don't remember any of it because I took mushrooms and ecstasy before that show, and I was tripping so fucking hard that all I remember was Seven Dust. I remember my mind was blown by Seven Dust to where I don't think I watched, and I hated Kid Rock, so I don't think I watched Kid Rock.
Okay.
And by the time Metallica went on, I don't even remember if I was still at the venue, dude. Because I was tripping so fucking hard, dude.
I don't have a lot of those. I never got so fucked up that I don't remember a concert. But
you went with Kylie Wong to that one?
But I didn't go with him, but he was in the suite. So that was cool. But just to hang out with him.
Did you guys make out?
I wanted to. I gave him an HJ.
Did you see Ezra's post?
No.
Oh my god, dude. So Ezra Tuolo, buddy of mine, I think you know him. He was on The Voice. He's been on the podcast.
Yep.
Bro, he put up a fucking post and it's him. It's like that picture like down the line, right? So there's the football, there's the center, and there's him as the defensive tackle. And it's him looking at the center, and then he put a caption on the top and he goes, I'm thinking I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. And then at the bottom he goes, or was it damn you fine? Because he's gay. He's open about it now. So it's like dude, I couldn't believe
getting lost in your dreamy eyes.
I couldn't believe he posted that. So he's like, damn you so fine.
I like that shit. When people can have a sense of humor about that stuff, it's great. But yeah, there was a lot of. Yeah, so that was a Sunday night because it was. I went to the Vikings played that day. It was either 98 or 2000, but I think we smoked the Cardinals or Cowboys. So that was like one of those epic days for me where I woke up, tailgated, football, went right to Target Center. Like it was a 3:00 game too, I think. So it was like 3 to 6 football, totally fucked up. Then go to Target Center, Metallica, Kid Rock, and then like I think I got home at like 2 a.m.
Luckily, you're a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean like thick.
Yeah.
I mean, you're also fucking tall. You're like 6'4".
6'2".
Well, you seem taller than 6'2". Because I'm 6 feet, and I feel like you're significantly taller than me.
Yeah.
My buddy's 6'2", and you're taller than him. So either we're all lying about our heights or something's going on here. But I've done that too. And drink all day like that.
Yeah.
Going from one event to another.
Yeah.
Man, that's got to be taxing, dude.
I took a break. I think I stopped drinking like halftime of the game just because I knew I was going to come back down, and then I was going to be able to get fired back up at the show, and it was like one of those things I didn't want to miss it. Like I didn't want to be that fucking wasted.
Right.
So, but yeah, I could put them back, but not as much as I used to. But
so, how did you get to know the VWO guys? Because my my uncle Sam is in the VWO.
Mm-hmm.
They all have dumbass names. No offense, Diggs. I know Diggs is watching right now. They all have dumbass names. Like my fucking uncle's name is like Sir. It's Sir something, right? So you said
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
No, his is Sir VIP.
Oh yeah, and they all have divisions and ranks and
so
captain
dumb.
of the Valkyrie division and things like that.
I mean, honestly, I'm saying it's dumb. It's cool
silly,
as fuck.
It's
cool as fuck.
No, it's fun.
It's cool as
It's
fuck.
fun.
Because there's real Vikings that are in the VWO. It's cool. So how did you get to know those guys? Because you're the one that recommended I talked to Diggs in the first place when Diggs, and that was a great podcast. I had a great time with Diggs.
Yeah. I just knew them. I mean, I knew of them and in the parking lots and things like that. And I didn't even know, like Diggs told me, like, you were one of the old school renegades that started all this shit. Now everyone's dressing up because of shit like you did and a couple other guys. But
yeah, it was like you. There was the two dudes in the purple suits.
Yeah.
They
came along a little later, but
they're still there though.
Yeah, they're still doing their thing.
They're sober now.
And they changed their name from Purple Pimps to Purple Brothers, probably because they're getting up there and they're probably getting some mainstream opportunities, but they can't call themselves pimps.
I mean, they definitely could. They abso-fucking-lutely could and should, but
yeah, and that's the crazy thing. I went to San Francisco when the Vikings were in the playoffs 2 years ago. It was January of 2020 when the Vikes were out there.
We got our asses handed to us by the Niners.
But I know. But
I thought we were going to be okay when Kirk Cousins hit Diggs on that fucking dart.
I remember it like it was on TV right.
And I was like, all right, we got a game here.
We opened.
It's 7-7. Yep. Let's go, baby. Because I think they scored first.
Yeah.
And then we marched right back down the field.
Punched them right back in the mouth.
And it was like, all right, this is going to be a game. And then that was it. That was all we had.
The San Francisco said, we're going to run it, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. And they just pushed us over.
Oh, God, that's so brutal, man.
Yeah, it was awful. But I had just got divorced, and I had extra money for the first time in a long fucking time. If you've been through a divorce, you know. But it's like I had a buddy that had tickets. He didn't want to go. So I spent like $1,800 on 2 tickets, went to San Francisco, and I saw the Purple Pimps just as a chance. I just went to go get a beer, and there they were. I was like, fuck, hey, what's up, dudes? Took a selfie, and that was that. But yeah,
was Sid Davey already a super fan back then?
Yeah, I think he was one of the guys doing it in 19...
There's no offense to any of the Vikings fans.
Yeah,
but he's probably the most famous Vikings fan. He looks like a fucking Viking.
Yeah, he was the thing for a while. He turned out to be not such a great a guy, but I don't want to talk about that.
I'll talk about it. Because I'm still trying to have him on the fucking podcast.
No, don't.
I'm still trying to have him on the podcast.
He's not even worthy of that.
First of all, I'm not sure my podcast is worthy of anything. But
I'm just saying there might be character issues, and I don't want to get into it. But there's a lot.
Well, here's the thing, dude. Apparently, he's fucking nuts.
Well,
and
I don't want to talk about
I'm willing to have him on the podcast. I want to talk to him because I want to find out.
Okay.
I want to sit down with him for
I'm going to call in and be like, long-time listener, first-time caller, and then I'll just start spewing off some shit.
Except you wouldn't be a first-time caller.
No.
But no, I want to sit down with him for 2 to 3 hours and find out how crazy he is.
Oh, he's okay. But anyway, so that was like 1999 that I started doing my bit. I did my bit with the purple mohawk and all that. He was one of them. I was one of them. Brian Moss, Maas. He was known as Cheer or Die Guy. He would dress up and he actually sit right next to Sid or maybe a couple seats down. He was one of them. And then there was a dude that had like license plate and shit. And then there was John Velick who also dressed up and he had so there was like a handful of us that, kind of started, the whole dressing up and yeah.
Let's call you guys super fans.
Sure. And then I did my thing until about 2009 where I got burnt out on it.
You had a big purple mohawk. You painted half your face purple, the other half of your face was yellow.
All yellow.
Oh, was it? I thought you went half purple, half yellow.
No, I was always
Is there
yellow.
A guy who did half purple, half yellow? Okay.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
But
so
yeah.
I'm just confusing you guys.
But the Viking World Order came about because we were going to lose our stadium and they were going to move the team. So, and that was done by Corey Merrifield, which, weird story. I used to work with that kid when I was a telemarketer in the 90s. It was just the shitty little cold calling telemarketing place. But all of a sudden, Corey is on the news saying, I started this movement, SaveTheVikes.com or whatever the hell it was. So he was enlisting superfans to kind of show support. And the Viking World Order was kind of created to kind of boost that message. So then we had like warriors and people that were out getting the message out there to not have this become another cold Omaha, so because they were going to move our team in 2009.
Another what? Cold
Omaha.
What is that?
Just like there's nothing to do, but it's cold.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
We don't want Minneapolis to turn into Omaha.
If we lose the Vikings.
Cold.
And the Twins were kind of fucking around back then too. They were still fighting about that stadium.
Contraction.
Remember?
It was in the
contraction.
It
was
actual contraction. Like
yes.
the Twins literally had to win.
The league was going to say, go fuck yourselves. You're not worthy of being
It was the last
team.
It was the two last place teams they were going to get rid of.
Oh, mm-hmm.
I think. Or no.
Wasn't that when Montreal went away too?
So it was. Here's what it was.
Because I don't remember that baseball thing that
I might be fucking this up, but here's what I think it was. It was down to 3 teams because they were the 3 worst teams in baseball, and it was the Twins and the Expos and another team.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was going to be is the MLB was going to buy one team. One team was going to stay their own deal, and the other team was going to be eliminated from the league entirely.
God. Yeah.
And the Twins went on this crazy fucking rally starting in like July or August, and almost made the fucking playoffs. Mm-hmm. That's how well they played.
Yeah.
And we avoided contraction, and then the league ended up buying what became the Washington Nationals. The MLB, I think still to this day, the MLB owns the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, I think Target Field opened up in, I think, 2009. Because I remember going to games.
Years later. That was several years later. Because that was at the end of Tim Pawlenty as governor.
Right.
Tim Pawlenty was like, the last thing I'm going to do is make sure that the Twins get a stadium. Mm-hmm. And I said that as if like the last thing I'm going to do is make sure they get a stadium. No, he was like, the last thing I'm going to do in office before I leave is... People were asking him, what about the Twins Stadium? And he goes, don't worry, it's definitely happening.
Yeah.
That was kind of his whole thing, and it did. And the Twins paid that loan back early with interest.
Yeah.
It was one of those scenarios where people are like, oh, the Twins fleeced us for how many hundreds of millions of dollars? Right. It was like, no, that was a loan, and they paid it back early with interest.
Yeah.
So the city actually made a bunch of money on that stadium, but the Pole lads pulled a fucking deal that they always fucking do.
Mm-hmm.
They got their fucking stadium. They made a bunch of fucking more money. And they're still making more money, and they never invested it back into the team like they promised they would. And we still don't have a fucking team.
They probably serviced their own loan or something stupid, right?
We have never won a playoff series, let alone a game.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't think we've won a game, let alone a series, since we've been in Target Field.
Yeah, it's rare.
It's bad. It's fucking bad.
If it ain't 0, it's got to be 1 or 2 at the most.
It's bad, dude. It's really fucking bad. The Twins are diseased. I'm sorry. I have to say it. The Timberwolves, diseased. I'm sorry. As long as Glenn Taylor is even remotely involved with that organization, the Timberwolves are diseased. I'm sorry. It's never going to happen. They're like the Lions of the NBA.
Yeah.
It's fucking bad, dude. And people are like, the Lions are coming up. No, they're not. They're still the Lions. They're always going to be the Lions. Fuck. Until the Fords sell the Lions will always be the Lions. It's always the Lions thing is, oh, next year though we're going to be good. No, you're not. You're the fucking Lions. You're always going to suck. Yeah. Fuck. The only reason the Seahawks came out of the depths of hell is because Paul Allen fucking bought them.
How do you really feel about it all?
The only reason the Patriots ever became anything is because Robert Kraft bought them.
It starts with the ownership.
It starts at the top. Thank you, brother. It starts, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. The Vikings are not diseased, but the Vikings, as long as they're owned by the Wilfs, will never win a Super Bowl because I don't know what the fuck is going on. But these motherfuckers, here's my case.
I was going to say, and I thought about this before we came out because I thought we were going to talk about this.
Oh, of course it's going to come out.
Yeah, but I was thinking...
Because we've been going... You and I have been butting heads all year about this. All season.
But look at where we were just 10 years ago. Like, the team didn't have a stadium. They were going to fucking move to L.A. The ownership group stepped up, got a stadium deal done, and then, it took us to, 2016 to get a home? So the first year of the new stadium was 2016-ish. So that's 5 or 6 years of kind of where I would consider the franchise starting with the Wilfs. Because the first few years were kind of fucking just jumbled. Like, it was just hard. We had shitty coaches. We couldn't draft to save our lives. But what I've seen come to fruition over some time, I'm not really willing to give up on the Wilfs yet. Because they've had some chances to... They redeemed themselves with the last 2 hires, the head coach and the GM. The team Oh, here we go. Fuck, you're looking at me like you're a fucking moron. Come on, man.
Go ahead.
But
make your point.
My point is, I think we have the upper echelon in place to do some damage now.
I'm not convinced. And here's why. The Wilfs have owned this team since about 2004. They came in.
Yeah, it was like 04 or 05, something like that.
Came in. They fired Mike Tice.
Yeah.
Which Mike Tice, now in retrospect, was a great coach. You look at what Mike Tice did with no coaching staff and no budget for a roster, and he brought us to the fucking playoffs and beat the fucking Packers in Lambeau Field. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible what Mike Tice was able to do with that, what he was given. So the problem is Mike Tice led an undisciplined team. So the Wilfs, they go hard right on the bit. I mean, they take a hard right turn, and they bring in Brad Childress, an absolute fascist in regards to NFL coaching. Like, if fascism exists in the NFL, Brad Childress is the face of it, like fucking Mussolini was during World War II.
Sure.
Brad Childress is the fascist. He was worse than Brad Childress, or he was worse than Bill Belichick because Brad Childress never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, but he brought it like fucking Bill Belichick did. Okay. Now, where I'm going with this is that was so bad at the end of it by 2010 that they fired him, and they hard left, went with the nicest guy on the fucking planet in Leslie Frazier.
Yeah.
Okay. That went really bad.
Yep.
So they went hard right, and they went back to Mike Zimmer, that style, that hard ass.
Yeah.
And what did they say? I remember this. They said, we're bringing in Mike Zimmer because we want a perennial, elite, top-tier defense. And we had it for the first several years he was here.
He was all right in the beginning.
Brought us to the NFC Championship game. We got exposed by Philadelphia and Brad Peterson. The rest of the NFL figured it out. And Mike Zimmer's entire double A gap, the whole thing had been figured out, and Mike Zimmer didn't know how to change. So the defense suddenly sucked. However, as much as we want to give him shit about, statistically, the Minnesota Vikings offense with Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and Kirk Cousins was better in Mike Zimmer's last year than it was under KOC, Kevin O'Connell.
Really?
Statistically, yep, we actually took a step back offensively. And
not with Jefferson's numbers though. Like his went up. They've gone up every year.
But the overall team offense was actually down. The difference is we were winning those close games. We were winning the one-score games. So there's some cool shit going on there.
Yeah.
But before I get ahead of myself, Mike Zimmer, his defense was so bad, and people thought the offense should be doing better, which I thought was insane because when you really look at that last year that Mike Zimmer was here, the offense was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They overcorrected again, and they went hard left to bring in Kevin O'Connell, who's an offensive guy. So they completely ditched their own philosophy. We're bringing in Mike Zimmer because we want a perennial defense. We want traditional Minnesota Vikings. We're a defense team, blah, 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 blah. Kevin O'Connell comes in, the worst defense we've seen in fucking years. They had spots where they were really good, like that Bills game, the second half of the Colts game.
Yeah.
Like they did some really good things in spots.
Yeah.
But overall, it was arguably one of the worst defenses we've had since the Dennis Green era. When we're talking about Waswa Sarangwa, and no offense,
Kylie Wong. Well, that was a defense built for speed, not necessarily stopping people. But we were just going to outscore the shit out of everybody was Denny's Paws.
Fair, right? And we invested all our money on the offensive side, so we couldn't afford defensive players. I get it, right? But I don't believe that the Wilfs understand how to hire a great GM because if they did, Jim Harbaugh was the right guy to hire as the head coach. I do believe that Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah wanted to hire Jim Harbaugh, but we have a minority owner, and by minority I mean his ownership in the company, not his skin color, because it doesn't really matter. But I want people to understand when I say minority owner.
Yeah, they just don't own 50% or more of the team.
Right. One of our minority owners is a University of Michigan alum, and he didn't want Jim Harbaugh because he wanted him to stay at Michigan. So one of our owners is more dedicated to his college that he doesn't work for and make money off of than he was to his own professional team. And for some reason, the Wills bent to that and forced Kwesi Adolfo-Menso to not hire Jim Harbaugh. This is my insider information. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 98% sure this is exactly how it went down.
Mm-hmm.
So then he hired Kevin O'Connell. Maybe Kevin O'Connell is the right guy.
Yeah.
But for him to bring in Ed Donato.
Well, wouldn't that be the GM?
Yeah, but that's because the ownership undermined his own authority, so Kwesi Adolfo-Menso had to go to his second choice,
right?
Which was KOC instead
but
of
it's not
Harbaugh.
KOC's fault that they got a shitty defensive coordinator, right? Wouldn't that be more on the GM?
Nope. Because the head coach hires his own coaching staff.
Oh, okay.
So the head coach brought in Ed Donatel and changed the scheme of our defense to a scheme, correct?
Yeah.
That didn't fit our players.
Yeah,
and
that's what you got to play to.
Before he even got here. The decision had already made. These are bad coaching decisions because anybody worth their weight in salt in NFL coaching knows you pick a scheme that fits your players, not the other way around.
Fast guys, you do the fast thing. If you're gonna,
yeah, exactly. If you're light on defensive linemen but they're all fat, then you go 3-4 because you got a lot of extra linebackers. If it's the opposite, you only got like 2 or 3 really good linebackers, but you got like a plethora of defensive linemen. Maybe you do the old Seahawks thing where you do like a 4-3 under. You got technically what looks like 5 down linemen and 2 linebackers, but that's just because one of the linebackers is putting his hand on the dirt over usually the right tackle or the tight end.
Or if your corners are good enough to play man every time, then you got all sorts of toys in the fucking middle, right? And then you can play man and then blitz and do all sorts of creative things with a man look, but then you go zone and vice versa and shit like that.
These are the things that scare me.
But you got to play to your personnel. What do you have, and then take stock of that, right?
I'm not seeing an ownership group, though, that understands how to win at a high level in a competitive environment because they don't have a plan.
Yeah.
Like Robert Kraft had a plan, and he knows how to manage and delegate. So he hired Bill Belichick, and he said, this is how we're going to do it.
There's a culture there, right?
And you're going to do your thing, and we're just going to move forward.
Yeah.
Every time something goes wrong, the fucking Wills go too far the other way. They overcompensate. Are we an offensive team or are we a defensive team? They don't even know.
Yeah.
And now we have an entire fucking group from our ownership all the way down to our head coach where we're going to go ahead and start building a team around a goddamn wide receiver that probably won't be here in 5 or 8 years instead of finding a franchise fucking quarterback and building the goddamn thing around him, which is what every great franchise does. Look at what Denver is doing. Denver sold the fucking farm to go get the right coach, and they are all fucking in because they want to win. And in case people go, oh, they suck. No, they don't suck. Denver is a great organization that just won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning a few years ago. When Peyton Manning can go anywhere in the NFL because he's a free agent and he picks Denver, that means one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game identified something happening in Denver and goes, that's an organization I want to be a part of. And it fucking worked.
Yeah.
Tom Brady didn't pick the Vikings or anywhere else. He went to goddamn Tampa Bay because something they were doing down there made fucking sense, dude.
Yeah.
The Vikings are never that team. The Timberwolves are never that team. I'm sorry, but it needs to be fucking
I don't know if you can say
said,
never.
dude.
I don't know if you can ever say never. But here's what I agree with a lot of your points. But just remember 2 years ago, we were the same team pretty much, but we lost all the close games, remember? Like, we couldn't win a fucking game to save our lives.
Under Zimmer?
No, just last year. Or so, yeah, it would be under Zimmer. Right.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm talking about the last Zimmer year. So it would have been the 2021 season. But remember, we were we lost all the games by 3 points. This last year, we won them all by 3 points. Pretty much the same personnel. Pretty much not the same coaching staff. But I think you got to read the room if you're an owner, too, because there's a lot of new, young, creative, offensive coordinator type coaching that's available. And that's the trendy new thing. And maybe they're just, hopping on, well, if we don't get O'Connell, we're going to have to just play basic fucking Mike Zimmer football and that's not working because the teams that are kicking ass have these fucking amazing schemes and I saw it this year with the offense. It's way different than I've ever seen a Vikings offense. We were doing some shit.
I mean, I don't think so.
No,
I really don't. Like, I think the previous year under Zimmer and Kubiak, I think Kubiak got fucked. Because I think Kubiak actually did a good job as offensive coordinator, and everyone all year was like, he's completely overwhelmed. And it's like, I don't see this. Is what I see is a defense that can't fucking stop anybody. Mike Zimmer doesn't understand the new NFL. Mike Zimmer lost the ability to be Zimmer. Great.
We kept drafting cornerbacks every fucking first and second round for the last 4 years and got nothing out of it. We couldn't stop a pass to save our lives.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? So like Rick Spielman, I'm not sure.
So maybe you go, okay, we're just going to go back to the Denny Green and just outscore the fuck out of everybody.
Sure. But
maybe that's what the Wolves are thinking. Like, fuck, I don't know.
So we fire Zimmer, we fire Spielman, we bring in Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, and we bring in, what's his fuck? And they draft Lewis Cine in the first round. He was first round, right? Lewis Cine was the first round pick. Broke his leg.
Was it Darisaw? What are you talking about?
Darisaw was a Zimmer pick.
Oh, okay. I don't really get into the fucking offseason, and I'm not a college guy at all. So
the reason
it's foreign to me.
I'm not trying to pretend I know anything about
and I'm not going to pretend I do know because I don't.
The reason I am diving deeper and deeper into college and the draft is actually for fantasy purposes because I'm sick of being a year behind of the good players. I this year is the first year I knew who to go fucking draft. Like, I got Breece Hall. I went and got some of those bad motherfuckers in the draft, and I still didn't win. Yeah. I still shit the bed. But
I had a shitty year, too.
But I think within the next 5 years, I'm finally going to have enough knowledge about the rookie class and who's really, like, coming into... And it includes shit like that. Like, oh, this new GM knows how to draft guys, and they're putting the right pieces together. So this guy is going to have a great year now. That's the point. Is, like, I don't believe. Like,
And just on, fantasy, pretty much mirrors the NFL. But remember, a few years ago, it was rare for a wide receiver to come in and start. It was rare. Like now it's all your first round receiver. Boom, they're starting. Same with running backs. It took them a year or two.
That's because they changed the rules.
Either they got eased into it, or they just did it. Like Laquan Treadwell, just nope. You don't have the talent here. See ya. Waste of a pick.
Yeah, that's true. Nope, I give you that. Especially when Michael Thomas was still an option.
But yeah, in like today's game is you're seeing because of the college, they're running a more pro system down there. The coaches are coaching like pros. So a lot of college players are pro ready is what I'm saying. So like it's important to get your first 3 picks right. The rest of the picks, fuck it. You don't know what you're going to get. You could get Tom Brady in the 6th round. You could get the first rounder that sucks ass. I mean, I don't know.
And this is a great point you're bringing up, right? So like Tom Brady in the 6th round. Cool. But does Tom Brady succeed like that if he's drafted to the Vikings? I'm not sure. And here's why, dude, because Brock Purdy, everybody now is like, oh, just go. No, the Vikings need to draft a guy like Brock Purdy next year. Dude, nobody in the history of the NFL has been drafted last and actually done anything.
Right.
Like, literally, that's why they call him Mr. Irrelevant. Brock Purdy is a fucking anomaly, and I'm the only person who's not sold on Brock Purdy because I am so sold on Kyle Shanahan that he can win with goddamn anybody behind fucking center.
Yeah.
He's like Dennis Green. We can bring in fucking Rich Gannon before he's good. We can bring in Sean Salisbury, Jim McMahon. We can bring in Warren Moon, who was supposed to be the goddamn man, but wasn't. We win 8-8 every fucking year with Warren Moon.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's kind of your your early 20s right there. Fucking Warren Moon. I remember 93X, or maybe it was KQ. Remember that there's that Ethan Hawke and Winona Ryder movie.
Oh yeah, it was filmed here,
and there was a song from that movie that was like super famous, and then the guys on 93X or KQ did the version with Warren Moon. It says Warren Moon.
Oh yeah, Warren Moon.
Yeah, and dude, I'll never forget
He's
that.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, Warren He is Moon. Unbelievable. Warren Moon. Warren Moon.
Yeah, he was the savior, right? Warren Jesus Christ. I wasn't so
because he just went like 15-1 the year before with the Oilers.
Yeah,
so like he's the final piece to our puzzle. He wasn't. It ended up being Randy Moss years later. But,
yeah.
But I'm just saying, man, it's a whole deal, dude.
Give the Wolves some credit, and here's why I think this might. I don't know. I'm probably not going to change your mind, but as a point that maybe they know what they're doing is they went out and got Hawkinson, so. They know a little bit about what they want, and they're not going to just lay down. Because when we had a tight end situation, they fucking solved it, and they fucking solved it well.
That is the most encouraging thing about Cam. So when I say Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, for listeners that don't know Vikings
K-A-M.
football, it's Cam. We call him Cam, K-A-M, Cam. And same thing with KOC, it's Kevin O'Connell, even though it should just be K-O. Right?
Yeah, right.
But we call him KOC.
Yeah.
So we got Cam and we got Cock. And the only thing that I'm truly encouraged with that franchise was the Hawkinson trade, which in retrospect looks like we won that trade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think...
Did we give up a first rounder, though?
No.
I know Detroit's got two first-round picks this year.
No.
Detroit's coming back, dude. They draft like 11th and 18th or something, man. They're going to be good this year.
No, they're not. The entire
I'm just trying to trigger your ass.
The entire NFL has an entire year now to... All they got to do is figure out Jared Goff again. Because Jared Goff's just doing different things than he was doing in L.A. Jared Goff is not a good quarterback.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
There's a reason they got rid of Jared Goff. I watched that
kid. So I used to go to one Cal Bears game every fucking year. It was cool. California. And there's nothing like California college football on game day. It's October. It's 1 o'clock. It's sunny. It's 75. It's fucking amazing. Just going to the stadium, even though Cal, not so great lately. But when Goff was there, I watched that kid. He would just fucking... It
doesn't matter, dude.
He throws dimes, dude. I know he makes bad decisions, but when he's throwing something, he could hit a fucking dime from 50 yards away.
Then why does arguably the best...
have you seen his girl?
Then why does arguably the best young coach in the NFL and Sean McVay?
Well,
because I still
traded him away.
I think Bill is the best of all time.
Yeah,
literally, I think the Lombardi Trophy should be renamed the Bill Belichick Trophy. That's no offense to Vince Lombardi, but,
yeah, should be.
When one coach is able to win 6, it's kind of fucking crazy. At both times, he went 3 and 4 years.
Well, let's see him win one without Brady, though. Then,
dude, if he does that, then it needs to happen.
Yeah,
if he does that, it needs to happen.
Yeah,
which I think he actually will, because I think Mac Jones is legit. But anyways, if Jared Goff is worth his weight in salt, then why on earth would a guy like Sean McVay trade so much to get rid of him and then bring in a guy like Matt Stafford, who was, by the way, I knew because I watched the fucking Vikings play the fucking Lions, and I knew Matt Stafford. I said on this podcast when we were doing the football versions, I said multiple times, a couple years before that trade, I am multiple times on record saying Matt Stafford's the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. He was that fucking good. Because I watched him lead comeback drives with him and Golden Tate.
Right.
You know, like, dude, I'm telling you.
That takes some skill.
Dude, the dude couldn't throw a football one game because he got fucking hit on the sidelines really bad. He stood up and said, I can throw the football if you need me to. Yeah. He said,
fetch me a beer, bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
He said, I can throw the football if you need me to. And they said, no, we're going to sneak it.
Yeah. I never understood the golf thing.
Runs up to the line. Takes the snap and hops over and scores a touchdown to win the game. Matthew Stafford was a fucking man before everybody knew it, except for me, because I'm that guy. And Sean McVay, because Sean McVay traded the fucking farm to get him, and he immediately won the Super Bowl with them, dude. I cannot sit here.
Someone should hire as offensive coordinator.
We might have gotten a good coach in Kevin O'Connell. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
But here's my concern about Kevin O'Connell. As great as he seems he might be, there was way too many times where an entire quarter would go by and the Vikings weren't doing shit on offense.
Yeah, that happened.
It was way too often. So we want to talk about how bad the defense was. The defense wouldn't have been as bad if the Vikings could have sustained drives throughout the game.
Right.
Yep. Even if they're only kicking a field goal, it's still a drive to get there. But they weren't. There was way too many we're talking entire second quarters, entire third quarters, where the Vikings didn't do
the first half of the Colts game. First half of the Colts game. They took an entire half off. And I said to myself at halftime, I almost tweeted it or Facebooked it. I'm like, this is going to be either the shittiest fucking game ever, or it's going to be the best game I've ever fucking seen. Because I had a feeling that they could actually do like the fucking comeback. Because I knew Matt Ryan and I knew the Colts. The Colts had done that a lot. And Matt Ryan sucks. I mean, that guy, I feel bad for him. He's freaking Matty Ice, you know?
He was Matty Ice.
The guy's like 8 feet tall, sees the field, doesn't have to worry about, anything.
Who was that super tiny NBA player? Was it Muggsy Bogues?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, do you know the story about when Michael Jordan was playing Muggsy Bogues? Muggsy Bogues is doing all his dribbling and moving around. Muggsy Bogues sitting there with the ball. Michael Jordan yells at him on the court. I can't remember if he said pass or shoot, but either one he said, shoot the fucking ball, you goddamn midget. Wow. Listen to me. Muggsy Bogues is on record as saying, That single moment set off a chain reaction that ruined his entire NBA career. Seriously.
What?
Like psychologically, it
my
fucked
God.
with his head, and just immediately his entire career went down the tubes.
Oh my God. That's awful.
The point is, I believe the exact same thing happened to Matt Ryan when he blew a 28-3 lead against the Patriots in that Super Bowl. Because, again, it turned around. He's up 33-0.
I remember.
He's up 33-0 against the Minnesota Vikings of all fucking teams.
Yeah.
With the worst defense in the NFL. And they don't score another fucking... They scored 3 points in the second half, dude.
Yep.
They don't score another fucking touchdown. The Vikings come in. So he blew the biggest lead in playoff history.
No, and in regular season history.
And the biggest lead in fucking regular season history, dude. I guarantee you, 20 years from now, Matt Ryan will be on a podcast, hopefully this one.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan will be on a podcast, and he will say, that Super Bowl, that loss, fucked my entire career up. It ruined the rest of my career. I was never the same after that Super Bowl. It's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
Dude. I guarantee you, I will fucking bet money. I'll bet you $500 right now. Eventually, Matt Ryan admits that.
Yeah.
The reason the Vikings game happened is because of that Patriot game a few years earlier in the Super Bowl.
It was in his head. I don't know if this is a real tweet, but it could be just a fake meme. But today I saw it, and it was Matt Ryan, and then the words are, "Since Brady retired, I can't retire now. Maybe I should just wait till 3/28." As in March 28th. So either that's bullshit or he's got a fucking fantastic sense of humor about it. But for him to retire on 3/28 at 3:28 p.m. or something, that would be fucking epic.
I think he would gain a lot of credibility back if he did that.
Yeah. But even that Super Bowl, I was like, this is the Patriots. It's Tom Brady. They could fucking do this. And they did. And I was like, oh, shit.
So that Super Bowl was the first Super Bowl I watched with my now wife.
Mm-hmm.
We were just dating at the time. There was somebody else in the house. There were two other people in the house. I don't remember who it was. Probably one of my roommates and a buddy. Could have been one of Kate's friends. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But they're up 28-3. And everybody's bored. And I remember saying this out loud over and over again. I go, listen to me. Do not doubt Tom Brady. I was like, this game is not over.
Mm-hmm.
And they came back and tied that game. And when overtime happened, I said, listen to me, everyone. I said, listen to me. If Tom Brady touches this football, the game is over. And all of a sudden, my fucking phone rang. And it was my buddy Anwar, who's been on the podcast a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it on speaker, and he goes, if Tom Brady gets the ball, it's over. And I started screaming. I go, I just fucking said that verbatim, bro. And we stayed on the fucking phone. We stayed on the phone and just watched Tom Brady just march down the field and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
One of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I remember when Brady was in the Super Bowl against Mahomes, I kept saying the same thing on the other side.
Yeah.
I kept going, do not doubt Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter that they're down 17.
Yeah.
But what I forgot was that Tom Brady was on the other side of that field. That was my problem, right? So let's talk about this Super Bowl that's happening next weekend.
Oh yeah.
I think this is going to be one of the best Super Bowls. I think it's one of the hardest Super Bowls to predict.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Mahomes' ankle is going to be fine. In fact, I think it's not only going to be fine, I think it's going to be a non-factor.
Yeah, or they're going to play the mindfuck game where they're going to say it's really bad and he's still not mobile.
No, they would.
They like to blow smoke. I mean, I would if I was a coach.
But that stuff would have been
to the media.
Leaked. That would have been leaked if that was their strategy. Right?
Yeah. Well, no, they still got time. Like, no, we're going to see how it goes. He's not as mobile as he could be.
Yeah, they're if they would have done that, they would have done that
Doesn't
for the
matter.
AFC Championship.
They're going to scheme for him to run. So,
but if they would have done that, they would have done that for the AFC Championship game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would they go out of their way all
You could see
week?
that last play that he had to run 10 yards. It was like me running 10 yards.
Still, I'm just addressing your thing about like the blowing smoke, right? If they were going to do that, they would have done that for the Bengals game.
Yeah, they do that shit though. I mean,
but they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't. So that's clearly not their MO, right? You're right that teams do that.
Yeah,
but that's not what they're doing. But what I'm trying to get at is, I don't believe in Jalen Hurts yet.
I don't either.
But the rest of that team. The rest of that team, dude, that Eagles team, I do think they are the better team. I'm not saying they're going to win. because again, it's Patrick Mahomes and it's Travis Kelce. But God damn it, dude. Like, I don't know who's going to win this game. This is the first year I'm indecisive about picking a Super Bowl winner because it's, dude, A.J. Brown, that defense, and Ndamukong Suh. They got Linval Joseph back over there. Fucking, dude, these guys are fucking monsters, man.
I'm leaning towards KC just for the Patrick Mahomes factor. Like, it's tough for Jalen Hurts brings a lot, but Mahomes has been there. Like, this KC team, it's not a fucking big deal for them. They've been there like 4 times in the last 4 years or 5 years or whatever it is. So they're going to go in there with not having, the bright lights and the shiny things distracting them. So that's just my only thing. Like, other than that, and I want Patrick Mahomes to win, but Jalen Hurts brings a fucking nightmare for a defensive coordinator to defend against. Because like what you said earlier, he's the one that can do some options. Like I saw one of the shows, the NFL Today or whatever pregame, or maybe it was Good Morning Football on NFL Network, but they broke down a play on why it's so hard for teams. So you kind of put a back out on a wheel route, and then you start running the option with Jalen Hurts to the right, and at some point the defensive end has to make a commitment to either go after him and then he throws it, or play it back and then he can go inside, which the defender just left the area, and Jalen is so quick he can just hit that area, and you get 5 to 8 yards every fucking time. Either he tosses it or he goes around. And quarterbacks can't do that their entire career. He'll be able to do that for a little bit, but then eventually he'll have to slow down and be that pocket guy again.
Right. And that's the question: is like, can
but defending him is a nightmare. And can they do it? But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it too. I'm excited. I'm going to be a Chiefs guy, but
is what I'm not confident in. I'm not confident in the Chiefs' defense being able to stop.
But like you said, Brown is a badass. Or is it Jones? 95 on the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a badass defensive lineman. I think his name's Brown. A.J. Brown, C.J. Brown, something like that. I don't know.
Oh, when I was talking about A.J. Brown, I was talking about the Philly wide receiver.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a Jones or a Brown on Kansas City. He's a badass. Number 95, whoever that is. But yeah, I think the Chiefs, if they scheme it right, they could probably contain them. But it's going to be a close game because I think Philly's going to get their scores. And so is Patrick Mahomes. It's the same thing for the Eagles. How are you going to defend Kelce? You can just load up on him? Oh, okay. Well, they've got 3 running backs that can kill you any which way they want.
Yeah, Pacheco's the real deal. Juju Smith-Schuster is experienced and reliable. Mecole Hardman is a problem. Yep. He's got so much speed.
And our buddy Jet McKinnon.
Yeah, that dude's on steroids, by the way.
McKinnon?
Yeah, there's no way you suddenly get that good in your 9th year of the NFL.
And he blew his knee a couple of years ago,
yeah,
too.
Dude, that dude is so fucking juiced up. I can't believe he's passing drug tests. And I like him. I love Jet McKinnon. He's a former Viking. I would never say this to try to hurt him or his team because that's just shady. I'm saying this because it's so fucking obvious to me. I can't believe he's passing drug tests. Because they're random, right? They're random as fuck. So he's just gotten that lucky this year, or he got a new doctor, or something's because that dude is definitely juicing. There's no fucking way you suddenly become that good.
Yeah.
He was that good for the first 3-4 years as a Viking. Then he went to San Francisco, and they called him Jarek Deadlegs McKinnon. That was his secret nickname in the press.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We talked about this on the podcast. My buddy Scotty has some guys out in San Francisco, and he was like, yeah, they call him Deadlegs out there because he's done. He's done. And then suddenly he goes to Kansas City, and he's the shit again?
Nah.
Yeah, dude's juicing. Do the fucking math. Speaking of fucking shady physicals, Carlos Correa.
Oh,
do you see this thing?
I haven't paid attention to that, but I've seen headlines about him, and I don't know what the hell they're about. Wasn't he supposed to go somewhere? He failed a physical, went somewhere else, failed a physical, and now he's back here.
Yeah, and we paid him a lot of guaranteed money.
Fuck.
And then New York Mets insider goes, yeah, I talked to that doctor. He said that's the worst ankle I've ever seen in my life. But the Twins are dumb enough to pay him a bunch of fucking money because we want to show we're serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you show you're serious and they make bad fucking decisions, which is why the goddamn Twins are goddamn disease and they'll never win a World fucking Series.
So what do you think about the Wild? Because I'm passionate about hockey, and I was just the other day didn't realize that Carolina has won a Stanley Cup. Because I was watching, so I watch hockey all the time. Like I have ESPN Plus, so I get all the games. Like I'll watch Washington Buffalo or the Islanders against the Panthers. Like I don't give a fuck. I'll watch hockey. Plus, I'm a huge fantasy hockey guy. So odds are my goalie.
You play fantasy hockey?
Oh fuck yeah, 5-time champion.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah. I play the shit out of fucking fantasy.
We'll get into this in a second. Finish your story.
I'm second in my league right now, so
Finish your story.
I live, eat, and breathe that shit. So that's why I dropped my television service, because I realized, fuck, you're just watching hockey every night, and you already have a service for that. So, but I didn't realize. I was like, what the fuck? How does teams like Carolina have a fucking Stanley Cup already? The Florida Panthers do, don't they? I think they do.
Yeah, oh, yes, definitely.
Fuck, like
the Florida Panthers have more than one, actually.
And like Minnesota.
Yes, fact check this for me. I wish I could just like throw it in chat so you could read it, but my thing fucked up. Will you guys fact check this for us? Look this up. I want to know, because I believe the Florida Panthers have not just won one Stanley Cup. I believe the Florida Panthers have won at least two. No, set your phone down. Let them do it in chat.
Okay. Yeah.
There are producers. There are Jamies.
Yay.
So when we say, Jamie, look that up, that's them.
Fuck yeah.
Jamie's, look that up. How many Stanley Cups have the Florida Panthers won?
I
believe it's at least two.
It might be two, yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they won one right away, like a year or two after they were an expansion franchise, and then I think they won one in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. But with the Wild, though, and even going back to the North Stars, at least we made a couple of appearances.
Yeah, two.
With the North Stars, yeah, two. But
they won one as soon as they moved to Dallas.
I'm looking at
1998. Actually, I think the Stars won it in '98.
I think so.
So the Viking that should have been the Minnesota North Stars with the '98 Vikings.
God, no, but so it just kind of irritates me. Is like we're the hockey state, right? And we don't have shit to show for it. And is that a leadership thing?
I think it was.
I mean, Leopold's still our owner, right? We have a new GM who everyone loves.
Okay, so our current owner used to own the Nashville Predators.
Okay.
And he won a Stanley Cup with them.
No, that was the GM. I think. That was Fletcher. Fletcher was the GM. So the owner of the Wild is still
definitely have
Leopold,
a new owner. Like the original
owner?
The
Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, the original owner is not the guy who currently owns it.
Yeah, no, it's still Craig Leopold. 2008. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, so he bought it in 2008, and I think he used to own the Nashville Predators.
I got meat in my mouth, dude. Yeah. So there's a connection there too, where our old GM Fletcher went to Nashville, and I think he's doing okay there, but not great. But so we got a great new, but from the top down, I mean, why? I know why we haven't been able to be successful in the last few years is because of the shitty contracts that we gave Parise and Suter. We're still paying them like $15 million to play on other teams. Like Zach Parise just signed the league minimum for like $575,000 for a veteran, but we pay him $12 million to play for the New York Islanders. It's fucking stupid.
It's sad, dude.
But that dead cap money just keeps us, we're $25 million under every other team right now because of that deal. And it's like at the time it was like, yay, we got Parise and Suter, we're gonna win. And we had success. It was fun to watch, but there was no championship there. You had way too much tied up in one fucking deal.
So I'll tell you what I think it is, and this is true for all Minnesota sports teams. I think it's the fans. I think it's because our fans here, we're so family friendly, and there's so many left wing, like liberal people here who aren't like that bloodthirsty, like think of New York, right? You got so many hardcore blue collar people, Philadelphia hardcore blue collar people. You got Chicago hardcore blue collar people.
Boston.
Here in our cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, not a lot of blue collar people. There's just not.
It's but I get where you're going with this.
It's a lot of liberal.
How about them Vikings?
It's a lot of left-wing liberal people who don't give a fuck about any of the pro sports teams except for like being there and getting a picture on Instagram. And then
right.
The people who do care, it's like this sad cliche Minnesota nice bullshit where they're like, oh, well, there's always next year. Our teams, like the Vikings have put out public address statements. We will not tolerate you harassing the opposing fans.
Right.
If you harass Green Bay Packers fans, you will be removed from the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
The Philadelphia Eagles don't do that shit.
No, they do not.
In fact, the mayor of Philadelphia said, we highly advise you don't wear purple jerseys to the NFC Championship game. When you come in here, don't wear your purple jerseys. So we're talking, again, top-down mentality. Minnesota is soft. We are soft. As fans, we are soft. It's too
passionate,
family friendly.
Soft.
It's too family friendly. It's too there's always next year. It's too Minnesota nice. It's too much of all of that.
So we don't put enough pressure on ownership to win anything, because we'll still keep coming to wild games as long as we make the playoffs.
And so basically we're a state full of suckers that allow a bunch of billionaires to make money off us no matter how incompetent their leadership is.
Yeah, I see that point.
The Timberwolves are the perfect example of that.
I had
and then to finish answering.
Yeah.
The other problem is the Vikings and the fucking Timberwolves, or I'm sorry, the Vikings and the fucking Wild are like average, so we never bottom out and get a bunch of top tier draft picks.
Right, we're always middle 20th.
And we never win the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup, so we don't attract those high end free agents for a lesser price. So we're in limbo.
Yeah.
That's the point. Minnesota is sports limbo. We're not bad, but we're not great. And that's a problem, because you need to be really fucking bad in order to get great players, or you need to be the Pittsburgh Penguins or the Boston Bruins, where it doesn't matter where they are. They know how to draft, including late, like the fucking Red Wings, the Detroit Red Wings for so many years. You can go look at their fucking 8th round of their draft, and it's somebody who later became a perennial NHL All-Star.
Yeah.
That's the fucking problem, dude.
Yeah.
How do you fix it? Now we're talking about shit I have no idea.
Yeah, right.
Like now I can identify all the problems. How do you fix them? I don't know. You got to start identifying the right people. Like, for example, Kansas City went and got Scott Pioli or whatever the fuck his name was from the New England Patriots. He's not even the president anymore. But they went and identified somebody who could help them build that foundation. Now there's somebody else in charge, but still. Then they went and got Andy Reid. Then they went and got Patrick Mahomes, and now they are the new Patriots.
But, on the bright side of things, the Gopher hockey program, they attract the best players in the state. And up until recently, they still do.
I mean, what about Duluth?
They always did.
Minnesota State?
I was going to say, I'm talking like 2000. If you were going to be a Gopher, you were the shit. And you were always going to be the shit. And we actually only used to have Minnesota kids play on the Gophers. We didn't have, if you were from Wisconsin, you were not welcome to be a Gopher. Did you know that?
That's why we were the shit. Because it was a real fucking rivalry.
Yeah, no, but we had that in place. But no,
I did not know that.
My point is we won. The Gopher hockey program has won. Okay, so that's a top-down thing, I think, just because of the pride and the Minnesota-ness about it. It's cool. Like, you want to be a Gopher, but now, Minnesota State. It used to be Mankato. Now they're good. St. Cloud is good. Fucking Duluth is good. Even, you hear all these other fucking small towns are just it's amazing to me to see, like, the or you watch the NCAA rankings and it's all like Minnesota this, Minnesota this, Minnesota that, St. Cloud State, this, that. Like, the Bulldogs.
Example was
like,
when I was in Texas.
Yeah, like they had no fucking.
Minnesota has 4 legitimate college hockey teams, and 3 of them were in the Final Four.
Yeah, I know. That's I love that shit.
It was 3 Minnesota teams and Boston.
Yeah,
Boston ended up winning the national championship. So good for them. But that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's a positive here now. So I'm just saying it's not all doom and gloom. Plus the Twins, 87, 91. That shit
before the salary cap.
That shit was miracle. I mean, we didn't have like a lot of free agent big stars on those teams. That was.
But you remember the strike in '94?
Honestly, we had Kirby Puckett. We had Kirby Puckett and some elite pitching.
Blackjack Morris.
Yep. And,
I talked to Phil Mackey one time. I was hanging out with Phil Mackey at Guitar Center back in the day, and I was selling him a guitar. But him and I were talking sports, and we were talking the '91 World Series.
Yeah.
And Blackjack Morris tells Tom Kelly to go fuck himself. He's literally like, Tom Kelly comes out in like, what was it, like the 7th or 8th inning?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, man, I'm going to pull you. We're bringing, and he goes, fuck you. Get out of here. I'm not fucking leaving this game. And Tom's like, no, you're done. And he goes, bring out security because you're going to need everybody to get me off this fucking mound. Go in the fucking, and he points. He goes, get in the fucking dugout and fuck off. And he goes out and continues to pitch till like the 10th fucking inning or some shit.
Yeah.
Dude, it's fucking... Dude, the 91 Game 7 of the 1991 World Series is widely regarded as the single greatest baseball game ever played.
Yep.
And we won that motherfucker
I know.
here in Minneapolis, of all places. It was I agree. It's a great experience. But then in 1994...
That's why you can't ever say never, because sometimes you'll have a magical team. It all comes together for some fucking reason.
That was before...
But like, look at our team this year for the Vikings. All that shit came together for some fucking unknown reason. We beat Buffalo in that fashion. The Colts game, like, it was fun.
It was fun.
But
it was a fun year.
Just, you could have... I mean, did you ever see... the Wild Thing movie, the baseball movie with Charlie Sheen, they had shitty ownership and they still pulled it off.
About,
Major League.
Major League.
We just need that. No.
So I won the state championship shortly after Major League 2 came out. And we had this kid on our baseball team named Lee Sorceley. He hit like 44 home runs in Little League baseball. Like, dude, he was like your size. And we were all 12 and 13 years old. Dude, it was insane how many home. And I think he hit way more than 44. I think 44 is an absolute understatement. I just remember the number 44. I'm pretty sure he went way beyond that.
Yeah.
He eventually played on the Little League World Series team. That's how good he is. I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know whatever happened to that kid. But we were so fucking good that I remember multiple times when somebody would hit a dinger, they'd be running around the bases and they would do that scene from the big African dude, and he's like doing this because his balls are so big, and we'd be doing that as we were rounding the bases after you. That's how good we were, dude. It was crazy. We won the state championship that year, and it's one of my greatest memories of all time, but I'll never forget that. That's my Major League moment, is how that movie became part of my real life, dude. Because like, we were basically acting out that entire movie throughout our actual baseball season. We were doing crazy shit, dude. It was a cross between Major League and The Sandlot. Because I remember one time, one of the games we lost, we only lost, I think, 2 or 3 games all season.
You sacrificed a chicken or a bucket of KFC?
No, one of the dudes brought in chew.
Oh, okay.
He brought in a big-ass thing of chew that he stole from his grandpa, and so we all tried to dip.
Oh, no.
And we were all out on the fucking... Dude, I was dizzy. Yeah, dude, I fucking like... Yeah, dude, we lost that game. It was bad. It was really bad.
I remember my first dip. I was like, this is awesome. All of a sudden, I felt like I was going to fall the fuck over. I was at Texatonka Lanes. It was a bowling alley. They had pinball up there and shit, so we'd play Asteroids and Pac-Man and pinball. Some dude gave me a dip of Kodiak. I just like this, and I was like, fuck, cool. All of a sudden, I was green and fucking jacking out front, just puking my guts out within like 1 minute. It was...
Okay, we were wrong. Florida Panthers lost their only appearance in 1996, but Tampa has won 3.
Right, that's the other thing.
2004, 2020, and 2021. They went back to back. In fact,
they did.
In fact, no, I remember this because the Rays and the Bucks won their championships.
Yep. Yeah, it was all about Tampa Bay for a while.
No, I'm sorry.
There was a Super Bowl champion, a hockey champion, and the Devil Rays were in the World Series but lost, I think.
Hold on.
Because Tom Brady won with the Bucks. The Tampa Bay Lightning won. Yep. And I think the Devil Rays were in the World Series, but they lost.
Yep.
Yeah, so everything was Tampa Bay for 1 year. But it's like, how does that shit happen? Why doesn't that happen here? Like,
so this is what I'm talking about, right?
We need that perfect storm or something.
It starts with
the fan base and the pressure and the expectations.
Right? But then there's also, I believe, collaboration between greatness, right? So when you get a great owner in a city, the other owners, their head coaches go and tour your facility and learn from your coaches. What are you guys doing over here?
Yeah.
That's why all of a sudden the Royals win a World Series. Mm-hmm. And then within a handful of years, the Kansas City finally wins a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden, New England Patriots in Boston, they come out of nowhere in the early 2000s, start winning fucking Super Bowls. And then all of a sudden the Red Sox beat the curse. And the Red Sox finally win the World Series. Yeah. It does happen like this, dude. Yeah. I heard Bill Burr talk about this. Sad sack sports towns that suddenly start winning championships in every sport.
Yeah.
And he goes, I want to find the town that's the sad sack right now, right? Because I want to be a fan of that team.
Could be us.
And I want that to be Minnesota.
But I think
it could be.
Yeah. I think continuity helps when you have a superstar, and we got one right now with Justin Jefferson. So if we can get someone that wants to play with him, that helps. I mean, it does. I mean, Randy Moss was here. We fucked away so many quarterbacks That's the other thing that just pisses me off about this franchise. It's a revolving door of average quarterbacks, and we just haven't fucking gotten that right pick ever. So I'm with you. Like I'd like us to go in a Jalen Hurts kind of a direction or draft that kid. But
he was a 3rd round draft pick.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, they traded.
But look at Trubisky. He was supposed to be the savior in Chicago, and that fucking thing.
He was a bum, and that's.
But he looked great in college. I actually did watch him in college.
But I scout these guys, and I'm like, yeah, no, he's not an NFL quarterback. So Greg Moog, both our friends.
But I watched Jared Goff. Was real quick. I watched Jared Goff. He was a man amongst boys at Cal. That's why he went number 1. But I was shocked to see him traded. But
honestly, anyway. I thought Jared Goff might be legit when I scouted him. I was like, this guy might be legit.
Yeah.
But then after he's in the NFL for a few years, I was like, nah,
every
man,
Aaron Rodgers record at Cal, which makes me happy. Actually.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
But Aaron Rodgers had only 1 year there, but Goff in a single season, I think, just smoked the shit out of Rodgers. But anyway, Moog was going to say what now?
Moog asked me. So yeah, Moog asked me back in the day. He goes, so what do you think about Trubisky? You claim you know a lot about quarterbacks, and I go, no, Trubisky's a bum.
All right.
He asked me about Justin Fields. I said, no, his name's Bustin Fields because he's a fucking bust.
Oh.
Trey Lance, bum. Trey Lance, North Dakota system quarterback. That's where Carson Wentz came from.
Right.
They have a machine.
Took a fucking turn, didn't he?
They have a machine built up there.
Yeah.
I mean, like that North Dakota football team.
Yeah.
That guy has built an absolute machine. Oh, yeah. You're nothing more than a cog. Justin Fields, Ohio State. I scouted that dude. Dude, again, a system quarterback who threw to wide open receivers that were wide open because of the play call, not because of Justin Fields' ability to read a defense and fucking throw a dart. No.
Yeah.
He fucking does his deal. He drops back. The schemed receiver is wide open like he should be, and he throws a fucking dime.
Yeah.
That does not translate to the NFL.
Right. So, yeah, you don't get that luxury of time in the NFL. You got 1.5 seconds, and you got to throw it, and you got to throw it quickly.
Yeah, and most of the work is done pre-snap. That's the real point. Like when you're really trying to figure out what a quarterback can do in the NFL, is you have to and this is why it's so hard to scout quarterbacks, is because unless you talk to them and you can get in their head and see how they think, it's almost impossible to actually know this guy is the guy.
Yeah.
But that's why Andy Reid traded up to get Patrick Mahomes, because he went and met Patrick Mahomes, and he goes, within 5 minutes of talking to him, I knew he was the guy.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It wasn't the film. The film is what got Andy Reid to go talk to him.
Yeah.
But it was talking to him where Andy Reid goes, this is the fucking guy.
Yeah.
And then he was like, don't tell anybody.
He's a bath bomb guy. Do you know that?
Get the fuck out of here.
I got to take a piss.
Okay. I got a video I want to play the listeners anyways. This is a hilarious thing that I found on the internet. This guy has like the most Danny DeVito vibes that I've ever seen in my life. And I don't know what it is, but I fucking love this guy. I hope you guys like this video. It's very short. It's a YouTube short. Oh, wait. What are we doing? I'm not trying to flip cams. We got to go to the media player. Here we go. This is the Danny DeVito guy. I hope you guys like this. Is it going to play? There we go.
There we go. Okay. Can you do that?
Yeah, maybe.
Can you do that? You know we're going to put you to the test.
I can do that.
Huh? Look at that. He's holding it, though. You see that?
Nice
huh?
flash.
You don't see me going like this.
That's impressive.
It's been tried. See the snap finish? He had to stop yelling bang when he does that, because some old people almost had a heart.
I love this. I'm going to play it again just because I want you to see this. Dude, I fucking love this video. I found this on YouTube today, and I was like, I'm loading this into the system, dude, because this dude, there's something about him where it's not an act. He's East Coast, but this is like, he's got like a Danny DeVito vibe to him.
Okay.
All right, we're going to play this one more time.
There we go. Okay. Can you do that?
Yeah, maybe.
Can you do that? You know we're going to put you to the test.
I can do that.
Huh? Look at that. He's holding it, though. You see that?
Nice
huh?
flash.
You don't see me going like this.
That's impressive.
It's been tried. See the snap finish? He had to stop yelling bang when he does that, because some old people almost had a heart.
He probably owns a legit garbage removal place.
No,
Look at this
honestly,
fucking guy.
You see this fucking guy? You see how he holds it there? And I'm not fucking. And my favorite part is you can't really hear it right now because of the way the podcast is set up. But I was watching this in private, and when he goes like this, he goes. You see the snap finish? You actually hear his hand go.
I did hear that.
It whips the air. It goes. You see the snap finish?
Oh, God.
He had to stop yelling, bang! Because he was giving old people heart attacks. I fucking love that guy.
God.
That guy reminds me of what you were talking about. Like, it was a hard interview.
Yeah.
He's straight up like, can you do that? And she goes, yeah, I can do that. He goes, now listen, we're going to put you to the test here.
Yeah.
I got one more I'm going to play. I got to go take a leak. This is clip I called Loser Dad. I played this before on the podcast. Honestly, this guy is going to save the world. This is, I think it's Little League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is why, and when you listen to his accent, it's definitely not Minnesota.
Okay.
Okay. Because Minnesota is all about we're here to have fun.
Yeah. You betcha.
It doesn't matter if we win.
Yeah.
Try hard.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
That was a good game. We got next year.
This guy is going a different direction.
Okay.
This guy is going to win his championship in his Little League.
Yeah. You betcha.
I got to piss.
All right.
Dingers. Disgrace the pitcher's family. Make the other players cry and stomp their butts into the ground. Does everyone understand that? Does everybody understand that? Look, fellas, look. There are two types of people in this world. There's two types of people in this world. There's winners and there's losers. And just so that we're clear, every time we step on this field, our goal is to be a winner. And if your dad has said, oh, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, just as long as you have fun, well, I hate to say it, your dad's a loser. Okay? So let's get our hands in. That team's pretty good.
Oh, my God. Fuck this guy, really?
So let's go gooder on 3.
Oh, God. Damn. That, oh, my God. That's so wrong on so many levels, but hilarious. Fucking A.
I'm sorry, but your dad's a loser.
Oh, my God. So I went out to Pittsburgh.
That's a guy. Hold on. Let's move on from this American hero.
Okay.
This guy, if he coached my kid, I would walk up and give him a hundo. Right after that speech, I'd go, I will pay you to keep coaching this team.
Yeah.
Like, I will get all the parents.
He could be doing some major psychological damage to those kids, though, at that age.
No, he's not. That is the greatest piece of advice ever given to
I would do
young
that to
children.
a high school team, maybe, but fuck, man. Those kids are like 7, man.
I'm sorry, your dad's a loser.
I'd give him 100. I'd give him a counterfeit 100 and then call the cops on him.
No.
Fuck. Oh, God. So it snows a little bit here lately, I hear.
Fuck off. Fucking what is that segue, you bitch?
No, it just looks like you had a lot of snow. I just, it's better than flooding.
We get a little bit.
But fuck yeah. No, it's no matter where you go, I got to deal with all kinds of different shit out in California. You
It's
guys
actually
still
been a
got
pretty
to-
stable winter. All jokes aside.
a lot of snow, though.
I've enjoyed this winter, though, because, the snow falls, you plow it, and then it just stays there. What I fucking hate is what has happened over the last 10 years, where it's 60 degrees one day, then it's 10 degrees the next day, then it snows, then all that shit melts the following day, and then it freezes on the next day.
Yeah.
So everything's just ice and mud.
Ice,
I fucking can't stand those Minnesota
you got
winters.
the choppy. You could tell it was plowed over because it was a layer of ice underneath first, but you still got these big old bombs, pothole. But it's snow, and then the cement is the the concrete. But yeah,
no, it sucks. It sucks. But at least it's been stable. Is the point?
Yeah, no. Well, I got a couple more days here, so I'm looking forward to the 30s. When I landed, it was -6, and I'm like, yeah, I remember this.
So
Not that bad.
we're going to Surly after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Surly tonight.
I'm gonna come out there with you.
Okay.
I don't think the wife's coming, but I'm trying to get her to come so we can eat some food out there because I've never even been to Surly. Can you believe that?
So I watched the Dave Portnoy things a little bit. He does the pizza reviews, the Barstool Sports. But he was at Surly and he did it. He's, it's fucking awesome, and it's like a New Haven style is his thing. And they apparently have great pizza there. So I'm like really excited.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going to go get me some, I think one's called.
Did he go try it for the Super Bowl?
No, I think it was here for a college game or something. Or no, it was here. He was here for the Super Bowl.
That
was it.
He did a 1 bite or 1 minute review, whatever his pizza thing is called. He did that for Pizza Luce.
He did it for Luce.
And he kind of shit on. He kind of shit on Luce, and it's like, dude, I don't think you understand what the point of Luce is. Like the point of Luce is it's not great pizza. It's the only fucking place in downtown Minneapolis where you can go get a slice of pizza.
Right.
Like,
after
that's
the bar.
The point. Yeah,
it's fucking tasty. I disagree with him.
But nobody claims Pizza Luce is amazing. I've never heard it. They're like,
I'd give it 8 out of 10.
Would you?
Yeah.
I'd say 7.
But I do like the.
Didn't he get it like a 5.9?
Oh yeah, he was like, this is garbage.
Shit on it.
Yeah. There's like he's kind of like more the coal-fired guy. Like there's a really good brick oven place down on Washington Avenue too, but I don't know what it is. But that one does really well in town.
There's one in Northeast that's pretty good.
I do miss a lot of the food and the beers here. Like Sacramento's got a really good scene for craft brew. There's a ton of breweries and it's really good. And fuck, we went and had I went to Spring Street when we landed for lunch, and you don't get that in California either, where you walk into like a Northeast dive bar. And the sights, the sounds, the smell, you can literally feel the atmosphere in those places.
Yeah, Spring Street.
It's so Minnesotan.
Dude, Spring Street is my secret spot.
Yeah, and I haven't felt or fucking seen. I was just like, holy shit. Because everything in California, it's new, it's modern.
Oh, so like everything's remodeled, rebuilt, like everything.
Even my
all
corner
the buildings
bar
are new.
is fancy. Yeah, even my corner bar, which is, whatever. It's fancy, and it's like, but the good thing is, so like Spring Street, just your straight taps of Budweiser, Light, Coors Light, maybe Summit. But like in California, even the smaller bars, 20 taps, all fucking local, all just, if you want a Coors Light, they pop a can open for you. You're like, here you go, loser. Yeah. but there's a really good.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard about California.
Yeah, no, and it's hard to find a good pizza place out there. There's a lot of the thing in Sacramento, it's farm to fork. It's like, because everything grows. Like you throw a rock from the northernmost city limit of Sacramento and you're in fucking Iowa. It's just fields and they grow a lot of shit there. So you get a lot of good fresh food, but that's kind of their deal, is farm to fork out there. So it's good in that regard. I like
farm to fork?
Yeah. Like, dude, I buy when the cherries are in season, there's just people on the corner selling buckets of cherries and $5 and you walk away with this tray full of.
I'm going to ask you a really dumb question.
Yeah.
Is farm to fork the exact same thing as farm to table, or is there an actual difference?
No, I think it's just a marketing difference.
It's just what they say.
What they say. Farm to table, farm to fork.
It's pop versus soda. It's the same thing. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's why I said it's a fucking stupid question, but I'm willing to admit I'm fucking ignorant. I have no problem for that. I'd rather I've always said this. I want to be right because I'm right, not because I want to be the one who's right. Meaning, like, I want to be right because I want to arrive at the truth.
Yeah.
Not I want my opinion to reign over all others because I think my opinion matters.
Yeah.
I know I come across like that.
As you said, the Florida Panthers won 2.
Right. And I was dead ass wrong.
I know.
But I swear, I thought they won.
I thought they did too.
I thought they won like right away. You know who it probably is I'm thinking of is the fucking Avalanche.
Oh,
they won the Avalanche won their expansion cup.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
They won last year. They're the reigning champs right now.
Right. And the first year of their existence, they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's awful.
I know, right?
Well, it's the fucking Vikings first season. We smoked the Bears. Fucking made the playoffs, didn't we?
I don't know. I know we won our first game.
The first game was against the Bears.
It was like 31-13 or something.
I think it was 55-0, something like that.
I thought it was. It doesn't matter what the score was, but yeah, we won our first game, and we were not supposed to. The Vegas Kings. That's what I was really bringing up. Is the Vegas Kings, the Vegas Knights. The Vegas Knights went to the fucking Stanley Cup. They lost, but they went.
They were smart when they did their expansion draft. They were doing backdoor deals. Like every team's going to make a few players eligible to be stolen, but they would say, "Okay, I want to take these two, but I'll let you have this guy and keep him if you give me this guy, and then I want on the back end a draft pick for next year." So they would they were making deals where they got like the best players, but then also solidified their next season with draft picks that they were like. It was kind of like most teams just draft the players that were eligible to be drafted or released from their team when the expansion came. But they did some backdoor finagling, and they fucking walked away with a bunch of shit.
That's super interesting because I used to work with a dude who's
like, give us Marc Fleury, and we won't take your best center. We'll take the Marc-Andre Fleury. We want him, and we won't take your best defenseman, but we'll just take the right winger.
That's super interesting because I worked with a dude who's like obsessed with hockey back in the day.
Yeah, and
he was trying to tell me something about before the draft even happened. He goes, "Oh, the Knights are going to the Stanley Cup," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And he goes, the way the rules are set up, the NHL wants the Knights to be as competitive as possible. Yeah. So they've set up the rules for this team to just like literally rape and pillage all the other teams.
And they did it right.
So then I'm working with him, and like a year or two later, I'm like, so we can expect the Kraken to do the same then, right? And he goes, "Oh, fuck no." He goes, the NHL changed those rules. He goes, the NHL, they don't allow you to do that shit anymore because the NHL thought it was cool that the Golden Knights made it, but the rest of the NHL did not think it was cool. Like, the league thought it was cool, but the other 31 teams or whatever it is, 29 teams, they were like, this is fucked.
They were not in a position of power. The Vegas Golden Knights were when they took players. They might have known your plans for a long-term plan for a player, and they'd say, "Okay, we won't fuck with him because we know your plans, but we'll take this guy instead. But you have to give us this other." So unless they were protected, they couldn't pick them from your team. But there was a lot of I don't know the specifics, but I know that there was some shady shit going on. Vegas.
Do some questions. Let's do some questions.
Yeah, do we have chat?
We have chat. It's a lot of people talking shit.
People are actually fucking watching this?
Sort of. There's a good handful of people right now watching.
I got COVID weight, just so you know. I used to be 30 pounds lighter.
Oh, don't even talk about that.
Plus these cameras add
I got a belly for the first time ever. I can jiggle my belly.
I'd like to jiggle that.
Look at it.
I don't want to... Just don't fuck the table.
Look at it.
Don't bang the table like you did when the guitarist of Soul Asylum was here. You're like, bam, bam.
Dude, that was one of my greatest moments.
I know.
What are you talking about, dude? That was a great podcast. I'm still waiting for somebody to grab that and turn it into a clip for me. Because I was basically describing, because he plays guitar and drums.
Boom. Yeah.
And I get asked, what do you like better? Guitar or drums? And I always try to tell people, well, they're different instruments. And people get frustrated when you say that. They go, "I'm fucking sick of hearing that answer. Which one's goddamn better?" And I always double down. I'm like, you don't understand. You shouldn't compare which one is better or which one you like more because they're different vibes.
Yeah.
And I used to say, drums are more primal. You're getting more energy out, more aggression because you're hitting things. And guitars are more eloquent. And then all of a sudden, I'm talking to fucking Ryan. Yeah. And it dawns on me, no, the difference is fucking playing drums is like banging a girl doggy style from behind. It's bam, 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 bam.
And you stand up and go bam, bam against the table.
Whereas playing guitar, it's like making out.
Yeah.
It's like making out.
Nipple ring.
Nipple ring.
Beautiful.
I'm just trying to make sure this chat thing works. I don't want to fucking make it double authorize my account because I don't like not being able to put this. But yeah, if you guys have questions for Patrick, hopefully they're good questions and you're not just being lazy because you're
Why didn't you play my band on local, you piece of shit?
Well, what I'm really actually concerned about is not necessarily that. What I'm concerned about is people asking questions we've already addressed earlier in the podcast. Like they're just late and lazy.
Where do you live now? Sacramento.
We've been over this. What have you been doing while you're in San Francisco? I work for the state now.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I have a grown-up job. I'm a big
There we go.
Job.
Boom. Welcome. Okay, here's your questions. Be a Jamie and sub. Yeah, now we can do all that shit. Sub for the chat. You got to sub for 10 minutes because it helps weed out the Russian sex bots. For real, dude. For real. I had to put on you can't chat unless you subscribe for 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
Because if I just left it open, we were getting like every podcast, we'd get multiple random things that would show up in our chat and it'd be a link. And if you clicked on the link, it'd bring you to some like Russian sex site. So
you were telling me a little bit about, I want to do some sipping.
Yeah,
Which one was good?
Should we drink some whiskey?
Yeah, I just want to sip on just a little one.
Well,
but
that's
you were
cookie dough
saying-
whiskey.
And this the one is
That's
good on the rocks.
It's better on the rocks.
Yeah, I'll
whether
take
it's
it.
good or not.
I gotta try this. It's cookie dough.
Cookie dough whiskey.
Fucking A.
I also have pickle whiskey, pickle flavored whiskey over
I'm
here.
probably gonna leave that one alone.
This one's not very good.
Yeah.
This one's going to last a while. This one's going to be in the studio for a very long time. This one you should not put on rocks.
Well, I know this is good
actually-
because it's half gone, so I know.
I got really drunk on that one night, like blackout drunk. I was down here fucking around playing video games, and I don't remember going to bed. I was playing Stellaris. You ever play Stellaris?
No.
Have you ever played Civilization?
No, I just do. I'm straight up Call of Duty.
Have you ever
all
played
you're gonna catch me.
SimCity?
No.
Okay. Well, I can't talk to you anymore. I don't even know who you are. I'm going to grab some ice. I don't have any more clips to play, but
Okay.
you can yak at the people in the
I'll fill some
fucking...
time.
Oh, here's a question.
Okay.
This isn't like a deep question, but it's a quick one. You answer this while I grab glasses and ice. Is there a band at Surly tonight, or are you guys just grubbing and drinking?
Oh, I'm not sure. There might be. That wasn't the main attraction. For me, it was pizza and beer, and I've got a few folks coming, but there may be music. I don't know. I think there's a lot going on with the brew scene tonight. I think Utapils has an anniversary thing going down at their brewery, and actually my second cousin is one of the brewers there, and she's a she, which is cool because I don't think there's a lot of female brewmeisters or whatever they're called in town. So, but she's got that. I think there's something downtown. There's a beer tasting at the convention center. But yeah, no, Surly for me was just, I just wanted to try the pizza. The place looked cool. I know my girlfriend likes it there. I'm not a huge beer guy. I'm more of a hard cider guy, but I do like to taste the different tastes, if you will. I do like to sip on the whiskey and have a little hard cider on the side. But yeah, holy shit, that was hard to open.
Was it really?
Yeah. Screwed
Probably
that
because I was fucking drunk.
Screwed that on tight. Like, fuck, no one else is going to drink this
I
ever.
was just going to say, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm going to do just the Cascade. This is just straight normal whiskey.
Yeah.
Actually, Colin Gibbs, shout out to Colin Gibbs from The Issue. Colin Gibbs brought this shit on. It's called Cascade Whiskey. God damn it. It's called... son of a bitch.
It's when I talk, the thing changes.
Yeah,
so
every
I'm
time
fucking
you talk,
right
it
now.
goes to the other one. Yeah. So Cascade Whiskey, Colin Gibbs brought this on. Colin Gibbs of The Issue, the drummer. And I fell in love with this whiskey because this is one of the smoothest, easiest to drink whiskeys I've ever drank in my entire life. In fact, my absolutely 100% unpleasable wife even likes it. If my wife likes it, oh man, it's definitely good.
So this is 70 proof. It's
I mean, it's whiskey, but there's a lot of sugar.
Oh
in
my,
it,
it's
dude.
good. It's so fucking good. I already
It's
took
really
some.
good on the ice. If you try to drink that not on ice, it
I could
tastes
see
like
that.
syrup.
Yeah, I could see
Like
that.
it's too thick, it's syrupy, it's gross. But when you put the ice in there, yeah, it's really. And then smoke your cigar with it too, man. Relight that cigar, dude.
Yeah.
Take a puff of that cigar after you drink that whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Now
Because
we're living.
that Habano wrapper is an absolutely top-notch cigar to smoke with something sweet that you're drinking. No,
Houston, we have a
you're not
problem.
doing anything wrong. Just keep going.
Click, click.
Here, give me it. What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything. I think the fucking thing's out of juice.
Maybe it is.
I
I
could just
just
do a
filled
regular
this at the
lighter.
beginning of the podcast.
Okay, I got a lighter.
Bitch ass bitch.
So
I
yeah,
walk around work. I got a real job now.
yeah.
we
What's
did-
that? What's that all
I
about?
don't
Is that
wanna-
kind of why you didn't do as many podcasts since August?
Yes. So I had to get, because again, we want to LLC this and get a real studio and all that shit. And so
Yeah.
I needed to do a few things. And it's not just saving up money. I need to like fix and build my credit and shit, right? So there's like,
Yeah, that's fun.
there's like a roster of things I need to accomplish. So I'll be working for a few years because I see the future and I'm like, oh, I don't want to just, here, give me that. There you go.
That's the
There
one.
you go.
All right. Yeah, we're
But that cigar is really great. The Habano wrapper is really great to
Right.
smoke with something you're drinking that's sweet. So like I'll smoke that while I'm drinking Sprite.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a great cigar for something sweet.
Step one. Mm.
And if you really want to be crazy, you do something like this, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger technique. You give it a little
A little dippy in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Schwarzenegger.
You ever seen that Schwarzenegger video where he talks about the cigar? And
No.
I did an Instagram video on it. I basically reenacted the whole thing. It was like, okay, we're gonna try this Schwarzenegger technique, and I just redid the whole thing from the top up, and it does absolutely change the cigar.
There you go.
And if you pair it with the right drink, you'll like it. It's good.
Oh. So, yeah, with this cookie dough, I mean, it literally tastes like cookie dough ice cream. This could be fucking dangerous.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I got blackout drunk on that one.
Oh, God, yeah. No, that's too tasty.
It is. It's scary.
Jesus. Yeah, it's almost like you would need to pour a little bit of real whiskey into it just to make sure you don't drink too much.
All right, throw your questions in here, you guys. There's a handful of you hanging out. I know you guys got some questions for good old Patrick here from California.
Formerly 93X.
California.
Spiking Viking.
Yeah, we talked about the Jonathan Freeloader thing. We talked about Vikings
Freeloader,
football.
VCPR, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City. Yeah, my claims to fame, everybody. Now I'm just an office worker, but I make more money. It's great. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like, I got a really good job. Like, I don't want to say
Sucking dick pays that much now. Sorry.
That's fair.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm all good with that. No. But no, this is awesome. Thanks for the cigars and the booze and the
You having fun?
Yeah, this is good. I was just checking the time. Not like I got to go, but I'm just like, how much? Yeah, we've been doing this like 2.5 hours.
It's a lot
plus.
easier than it seems, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like when we started, I'm like, this is never gonna fucking fill 3 hours. But then I'm like,
and here we are, 2 hours. It's like we have so much more to talk about, but I want to include the listeners.
yeah. So what are they saying? What's going on? Any questions? Any complaints? Probably some complaints.
A lot of shit talking.
Shit talking about me?
No.
About you?
Yeah. It's always about me. Everything's about
Jerry
me.
doesn't know fucking hockey. Fuck that guy.
Dude, I'm part of this NFL Facebook group called NFC Elite.
Oh yeah, I'm part of that too.
And
I don't really interact with it though, but yeah.
I can't believe you don't see me literally shitting on people. I call them retards on a regular fucking basis.
Come on, man.
Dude, no. I'm talking rubes of rubes. Like the one-eyed man is king of the blind shit. Like, but you still can't see in the dark. Like they're fucking stupid.
Okay.
Like these people
They
say
deserve
some
it.
of the dumbest shit. There's this one kid named David Morris. Nobody on the podcast knows him. He's some random dude on the internet. So fuck him. There's this kid named David Morris who's an obsessed Lions fan. And dude,
is that when you were yelling earlier? You're the fucking Lions. You will never be good.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I wasn't literally talking to David Morris, but no, he's a great example of the type of person I was talking about. Like, dude, he's delusional, man. These guys are fucking clowns. And there's dudes who are like Niner fans in there, and you should definitely get in there and start interacting because it's goddamn hilarious. I'm telling you, I fucking dunk on people. Like, I risk Facebook bans daily because I say some horrendous shit to these fucking idiots.
Yeah, you were talking about fans earlier, but the Niners and formerly Oakland Raiders, their fan bases are fucking, oh my God. And I'll say this hands down. I went to a few Raiders games back when they were still in Oakland, and they, by far, throw down the hardest in the NFL. Like the
Bears fans?
No, Oakland.
Oh, the Raiders.
Yeah, you go to a Raiders. I mean, it's not like Philly where if you're wearing another team's shit, you're going to get messed with. But you will walk by, and if you're wearing New Orleans Saints shit and you're playing the Saints that day, and you walk down Raider Row or wherever the fuck you're going in the parking lot, you cannot make eye contact or fucking be like, fuck you guys, we're going to kick your ass today. You're going to get what you deserve. But if you just keep your eyes forward, let them go, Raiders, and that's it. You just mind your fucking business. You'll be fine in the Oakland Coliseum. But too many times about the third quarter, you see cops just every section pulling fucking people out in the away gear because they open their fucking mouth. And yeah. And then the Niners fans are just brutally the same. Like, there's a couple of times where it's happened where Oakland plays San Francisco and vice versa. It's like it's on. I think they stopped beer sales at the end of the first quarter.
If I ever win the lottery, like,
but it's intense.
Like the new lottery,
yeah,
like, where it's like regularly $1 billion.
$1 billion, yeah.
If I ever win that motherfucker and take the cash option for like 500 or 600 million, I'm literally buying $600 million worth of shares of the Minnesota Vikings. And then I'll just let it snowball until I can afford to buy the entire team. Because we're done with this. No more harassing visiting fans.
Yes.
Family friendly. No, we're not family friendly. I'm sick of this loser ass soft bullshit in this state. I'm sorry. I can't even relate anymore. I can't fucking relate anymore. Because no, I'll tell you what. Every kid playing and having fun is important.
Yeah.
But even for the kid who's on the bench who never plays, you know what's the most fun? Being part of a winning team.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you want to talk about what's best for a young person, and I'm saying person like, because this is true for young women as well, understanding you're not good enough to be a starter. You play a role on our team. You are what's called a role player. You're important. You're part of the team. If you weren't important, if you weren't good, you wouldn't be on the team.
Right.
But you're not him. You don't deserve the same amount of time the same amount of innings in baseball, the same amount of minutes in basketball, the same amount of downs or snaps in football.
Yeah.
No, we all have a role to play, and some people are rock stars and some guys are grunts. You need to understand what role you are now. That doesn't mean that's who you are forever, but you need to understand, because this is important in life. Right now, you're not the president. You're just the manager. Right now, you're not the manager. You're just a sales guy. You need to understand how to play a role, because that's what teams are built on. That's what countries are built on. That's what militaries are built on. So no matter where you go in life, this is how things work. This is how teams work. This is why certain guys don't work well with others, because they can't understand they're not the man.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And I've been that guy. I've been every version of this. I've been just the role player. I've been the guy who literally state championship. We're all fucking sitting there. I'm thinking, I'm probably going to get in like the 5th or 6th inning. Like, man, I fucking state championship. I just don't want to fail the team. And then all of a sudden the coach goes, Jared, you're starting tonight. And I go, cool, where? And he goes, pitcher, get out there and warm up. And I go, what? I'm starting pitcher for the state champ. Why me? There's 4 other pitchers that are better than me. Because for whatever fucking reason, my coach said, no, Jared's the guy I want on that mound. I don't know how he came to that conclusion. I've never talked to him. I would love to have a conversation with him. I would love to have Rich Anderson on the podcast.
Yeah.
He eventually got arrested for embezzling from the Little League. Because he was the Little League treasurer.
Oh, God.
And in we're talking about Coon Rapids
Maybe he
baseball.
needed a vacation.
He had a brand new truck. He bought a brand new truck with the money. Like a $40,000 GMC pickup.
How do people do that and think they're going to get away with it?
I don't know,
so
dude.
Fucking digital and tracked.
I don't fucking know, dude. But he was an elite level coach. Like, for example, everything he did in that championship season, I see Super Bowl coaches do in their seasons.
Yeah.
Like there's a way that champions do things.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly consistent. And it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan to Phil Jackson to Vince Lombardi to Derek Jeter. To Little League Baseball. Yeah. There's a thread there. And it's so fucking repeatable. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Like, when I was a starting goalie, like in Squirts, Pee-wees, the beginning part of Bantams. So I was kind of like the shit on one of the hockey teams, on one of my sports. And then I was a catcher in baseball, which is like a goalie. But I couldn't hit a ball to save my fucking life. So
which is a big.
I was a backup catcher, and at best I'd bat 9th every fucking game if I played. You know what I mean? So
oddly enough, catchers are notorious for not being able to hit. That's why Mike Piazza and Joe Mauer were anomalies.
They were special, yeah. But yeah, no. So I just couldn't fucking hit. I could switch hit too, and it still didn't fucking matter. But I would play stickball down at the yard, and with the kids, and fucking I would be fine. But put me on a baseball team, and I just sucked. But, my role was to block the ball from going and have them run it from third score. But I was okay at that, but not great. But, yeah, I miss sports.
We'll give a few shout-outs here to some of the people who've been commenting a lot. Shout-out to Diggs Garza.
Diggs!
Thanks for hanging out, buddy.
Skull.
Shout-out to Brad. Brad's one of our best subscribers, listeners, fans, whatever.
Hello, Brad.
Brad's getting a T-shirt actually because he's part of the Patreon. He's actually
Cool.
technically Brad's getting 2 T-shirts. He's getting one with the old logo and he's getting one with the new logo that nobody's seen except him and the other people in the Patreon.
Did you let the butt plug idea go, or are you still
Yeah,
working
we're not
on
going
that?
to do the butt plug. No.
Because no one could see the logo, right?
Right,
That's-
and it left a texture on, which was in our beta testing.
That's the whiskey talking.
was causing fissures, and we just can't have that. It was a liability issue.
Who's the shit band you played for me earlier? You said these guys are the shit. Like, let's talk
Uncle
Minneapolis
Daddy.
music a little
Uncle
bit.
Daddy,
Uncle
man.
Daddy. Okay, I'm gonna check them out
Dude,
too.
there's a bunch of great Minneapolis bands I've had on.
Because I haven't been part of this scene forever, and
You're
so
on
I'm
the
just
podcast.
wondering if it's still fucking vibrant or what it's like.
So it's both more vibrant and less vibrant depending on your definition of that. So,
Like-
for example, the crowds are a remnant of what they used to be. So, if you're looking for crowds,
Yeah.
no.
What about the clubs and the opportunities? They still have.
No.
Oh, shit. 'Cause it-
However,
in this
the-
COVID era, they can't make money off it, so they ain't gonna fucking do it anymore. I
however, the
suppose.
bands,
Yeah.
the bands are as good, if not better, than they ever have.
Well, yeah,
been.
they could just go to streaming instead of to the club and
The
wasting.
musicians are almost as good, if not better.
That's good.
The diversity
Mm-hmm.
is way better.
Yeah.
So like back when you were on the radio and I was coming up in the scene, when we got to know each other,
Yeah.
there was basically 2 types of bands as far as genres went.
Yeah.
Right. You were either like metal, like Revelance, like metal,
Yeah.
or you were doing like the Black Flag Diesel, American Head Charge, new metal thing.
Right.
And there was
And
no
previous
variation
to that, there was a little like Head Charge killed the hair band era.
Right.
'Cause
Sure.
In the '90s, all the local music here was like hair bandish, and that's fine. I'm not ripping on them, but it would be like Hurricane Alice. I don't know if you remember them or like
Yeah.
just But yeah, and then there was like the very macabre bands. They were just like really fucking dark and just I couldn't even play it on the radio. It was just speed metal with just
Yeah.
fuck. How can I play that on the radio? I did, but occasionally. But that's not what people really want to hear, I don't think.
And we should definitely, when we are doing this, we should like tether in and slowly segue into, I think the best way to wrap this up is talking about loud and local.
Oh, okay, sure.
So to answer your question though, is I think the diversity is greater now because you have bands like ranging from Uncle Daddy,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically just a straight up rock band,
Yeah, I liked what I heard.
to Stormbreaker, which they're kind of in a transition right now, right? So Stormbreaker, a year ago, I would have said is a straight up 80s glam metal, hair metal band.
Sure.
And they're doing like the Greta Van Fleet thing. Like they're single-handedly bringing back an old genre, but they're evolving, right? They've switched members over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to tell you what Stormbreaker is or is going to be because their future is undecided.
Okay.
Great musicians though. I mean, top tier guitar players. Just really impressive. Like even I'm like, damn, these fucking guys are good.
Yeah.
And then you have bands like By the Thousands, which are kind of the gent, brutal metal. It's hard to kind of describe because I don't want to say they're like After the Burial, but they're in that level of heaviness.
yeah.
Like they're heavy.
I love After the Burial.
Right. And they're still doing shit. which-
Yeah, I heard.
which They're
I heard they were
actually-
done, and now they're back.
Yeah, well, they're doing the Milwaukee Metal Fest. So,
okay.
Trent's one of those guys I haven't gotten on the podcast that I want to. Nick Wellner, I should get on the podcast as
Yeah,
well.
I feel,
But
that's
the music scene is more diverse. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
answer your question with. Is the music scene is more diverse than it ever has been, and these bands oftentimes play together,
Mhm.
so you get really great shows.
Yeah,
But the crowd confidence is something that needs to be discussed because people aren't confident about going out into public in large gatherings, except for
Yeah.
the state fair. At the state fair, there was so many people at the state fair,
Yeah.
but you can't get people to show up to the main event in fucking Fridley or what is it called now, Pickle Park or Route 47 or whatever the fuck. Like, if you get 250 people to a show, it's a good show now.
Yeah, oh,
That's sad
That's
because
sad.
you know where you and I came from, we were regularly doing like 1,000 people.
And yeah, this is back in the day when people still handing out CDs and flyers for their next gig. Like you did a gig, you were passing out the flyer for your next gig 3 weeks at a different place, right?
Yep.
Now everyone's got their CD, they got their social, or they got their website, their social media. I could see where the crowds would go down, but where the music would go up because there's still opportunity with electronic media now, where you don't maybe you don't even have to go out and play and prove yourself. Like, you could just be a good band, but it does help. I mean, you can't just be studio band.
It depends on what you want to do. So if you want to actually be a real musician as a career, you need to take the model of The Issue.
Mm-hmm.
So The Issue is a rock band here from Minneapolis, and they're the hardest working band in town.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not close. It's not close. The Issue is basically 4 different bands. So The Issue is their original version. Then they have a cover band called Out of Line. And all of those members are in other bands together.
Yeah.
Like, they all grew up together. Yeah. Like, The Issue is the hardest working band in town. Uncle Daddy might be the best band in town.
Right.
Stormbreaker is one of those bands that a year or two ago, I would have told you they're the next big thing. They're the next Greta Van Fleet because they're doing an 80 metals. But they're in a transition period. So I'm like, reserving my judgment until they kind of figure out what they're doing now. Same thing with The Issue as far as their sound goes, but they still work harder.
But
than
that's smart. Like,
crazy.
I think Blue Felix and Jake Crooks even still does this, where like, and I think maybe Wally and Skywine did it, or Slow Children or somebody, but they would just go out and do covers. They would be a cover band, and they would just make the money that way to finance their CD for their original music. So they would have 2 band names, right? So they'd go out and do Friday nights at, Chanhassen Dinner Hall or whatever the fuck. And then they'd use that money to finance their original music CDs. Which, because, when you play a gig, you might walk out of there with $50. If you're lucky, and you got 4 guys to pay $12.
Hey, at least you get gas money.
But, yeah, exactly. But if you do covers, you might be, if you're good at it, and you go back to the bar every Sunday night, and you might get $200 that way. You do that 5 times, you got $1,000. Boom, you make a CD, make a demo.
Right. I mean, the numbers are definitely bigger nowadays, but yeah.
That's my scale. That's what I remember.
You're definitely dating yourself.
Yeah. I used to get $250 to sit in a bar for 2 hours. Isn't that retarded?
Dude, when Solace and Ashes played, which was my second band. So you and I met when I was in a band called 7 Months of Nothing.
Okay, yeah.
But then that band broke up, and I was in a second band called Solace and Ashes. Mm-hmm. Solace and Ashes minimum back then was $200. We didn't play for less than $200.
Okay.
As an original band.
Yeah.
We're like, no. We don't care if no one shows up. The people that are already in the bar are going to drink so fucking much because we're that fucking good and we're that fun to be around.
Sure.
You still have to give us $200. And they would do it.
Yeah.
And then they'd beg us. And I mean beg us to come back.
Yeah.
Like for real.
That's when you got it going on.
Right away, out of the gate, we were dictating terms. And that's what you can do if you're good.
Yeah.
If you're not good or confident, one of the two.
Yeah.
We'll take $50, sure. But honestly, as long as my philosophy is this, as long as you're not playing for free, like if somebody gives you an opportunity to play in front of 2,000 people for free, do it.
Yeah.
Because that's 2,000 people, but you better have enough merch to sell to where you can make that worth it.
Yeah.
But
Head Charge came through Sacramento in 2013. I bought a T-shirt, not only just because I wanted one, but I was like, fucking, they're on the road, man. And the club,
that's how they
sorry to say,
exactly.
2013 Head Charge wasn't packing the place. Not in Sacramento, anyway. But yeah, I wasn't like out of pity. I was like, I'm going to support the band. And that's the thing, too. It's like, even I did it, but I had kind of a professional need where, every one of your friends, really want to support us? So then don't ask to be on the guest list. Give the $7 cover at the door. And
perfect example of that, my little brother started a company where he does roadside diesel repair. So if you're a semi driver,
I see that all the time.
He shows up on the side of the highway and will fix your shit or tow you to a safe place where he can fix your shit and you can just go about your day.
Yeah.
There's value in that, right?
Yeah.
There's serious value in that. So I hit up my little brother. I'm like, hey man, listen, I don't have time to come up there and fix my truck with you. Can I just pay you to do it? And he gives me the spiel and he goes, but I'll give you a family discount. I said, fuck your family discount.
Right.
I want to support your business.
Yeah.
I don't want your fucking discount. I want to help you succeed.
Yeah.
So someday you're $1 million company and maybe you're like, no, just fix it for free.
Yeah.
That's what real support is. I'll invest money early. So maybe down the road I get something for free.
Yeah.
Shitty friends and family members go, well, don't I get a discount right now while you're struggling and trying to make your dues? Like, what the fuck is that, dude?
But I was on a guest list all the time.
Me too.
But
Me too.
I feel, I don't know. I was there to see them, and I'd get their CD, but in return, they got airplay out of that, and that's fucking invaluable. So yeah, they're going to give me $7 to go watch their band. So
Right.
I could put them on the radio if I like it, you know.
And most bands weren't getting 100% of the door anyways.
Yeah, no.
Right? So they're really sacrificing $350.
I've heard some really shitty stories about this town. You bar owners know who the fuck you are.
Don't worry. The guy who used to own the 400 bar isn't there anymore. So we can talk all the shit we want because that guy was a real piece of shit.
Oh, boy.
He tried to get me to... He was the originator of the pay-to-play.
Oh.
So he wanted me to buy $250 worth of tickets, and then if I didn't sell all those tickets, I couldn't play, and I had to pay him back for the difference. And I told him multiple times in email, phone calls, and face to face that he can go fuck himself because he's not going to be here in 5 years. And you know what he told me? He goes, "I've been doing this for so many years. If Godsmack is willing to do it, you can do it." And I said, I said, dude, this is again where I said, you're a retard. I said, you're a fucking retard. And when I say retard, I'm not saying you're mentally disabled. I'm using it by the dictionary, meaning you're preventing or slowing progress.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. Like,
I remember,
you're so dumb.
so
you're
funny.
hurting yourself and the community. His name was Tom.
Oh, my
Fuck
gosh.
Tom.
I remember I saw Godsmack at the 400 bar for the first time, and this was like 1998. Their first song, Whatever, came out. I was still doing overnights, like on my...
Stay away from me!
Yeah. But they played at the 400 bar on a Sunday. I was doing overnights on the weekends. But I was like kind of... So they start out... In radio, they start out the newer songs that they don't know if it's going to work or not. They start them out on overnights. And then you might get to nights where you get played at 9 or 10. And then if they start getting good feedback through radio research or phone calls or polls and things, then all of a sudden, okay, we got a hit on our hands. We'll play Godsmack, whatever, throughout the day. But this was back when they were on the air for a week. Nobody knew who the fuck they were yet. So I go to a 400 bar at like 5 o'clock on a Sunday, and nobody was there. There was 12 people at that place. But I got to hang out with them, and I'm like, hey... And we ended up just talking about hockey. They're big Boston Bruins guys, and I'm like talking about Minnesota, and we just hung out, talked about hockey.
I heard Sully is one of the greatest human beings.
Yeah, he's so fucking cool. Yeah, but yeah, and that's the thing. So I made that little connection with them at the 400 bar, and then 3 years later they're playing 93X Fest and Ozfest, and I'm at a concert, and hey Patrick, how you doing? Hey, I remember you. Yeah, stuff like that Sully accent, it's Boston. He sounds like he's got the coolest fucking voice, man.
Until he sings, never misunderstand me.
Yeah, God. All right. So what are we gonna do? It's been 3 hours. I might have to go.
You guys got any more questions? We're gonna wrap this up. We're going to Surly soon. You guys got any questions? We're gonna go to Surly, have a beer, have some food. I'm gonna even try to drag the wife out.
Yeah.
You're going to go out there with a date?
Yeah, I got a hot date.
Going out there with a hot date.
I'm on a hot date. It's a hot date weekend.
Do we know anybody else that's coming out there for sure?
Yeah, like my old roommate.
Mooger coming out?
Mooger's coming. I invited Justin from Head Charge, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Yeah,
anybody
my
else?
old roommate,
Should
my
we
old
hit
neighbor.
Up anybody? Should we literally hit up somebody?
I don't know. We can. I don't know.
Who should we hit up? Should we hit up Jeremy Blake?
Sure.
Let's see if he answers.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do this.
I don't care. I don't care who comes. Open, come one, come all.
It's an open bar.
Yeah, no.
It's an open bar.
Not.
It's an open bar.
I did not say that. I'm making decent money in California, but it's so fucking expensive to live there. I lose it all anyway. Dude, my rent. Yeah, I'm not even going to say what I pay for my rent.
No, actually, you should tell people. You should tell people.
It just went up to $1,709 for a 700 square foot 1-bedroom apartment. That's like $250 a square foot. It's ridiculous.
Let's see if we can get Blake.
Yeah.
It's not even coming through the mic right now. I don't have the gain high enough.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
It's okay, though. I don't want the ringing in the microphone.
Yeah. He won't answer.
He won't. He's too good for us.
All right.
Hello, you. If you want, good luck. Or you just text me like an
You guys can't hear that, but Jeremy has one of the greatest voicemails of all time. I don't think you guys could hear the whole thing on the actual show, but it is one of the greatest voicemails of all time.
I use my personal phone for work, so I can't do that. But that would be awesome.
Thank you for calling me.
Odds are I probably won't call you back. You can just text me like a normal person.
I love Jeremy.
Yeah, like other than your mom or your grandma, who fucking leaves a voicemail?
Let's talk about Loud and Local, because one of my favorite conversations I've ever had with you. You and I were just on the phone FaceTiming, and both of us were shit faced.
We had clothes on though.
Shit faced.
Yeah.
I mean shit faced. I think it was one of those deals where like the Wild were in the playoffs or something.
Okay. We did a football thing, and then the Wild were on, and we were both watching this, and we were maybe doing one of these live things together.
It was before the live thing.
Yeah.
It was before we were doing it on the internet.
Yeah.
So you and I are just fucked up. FaceTiming while we're watching the Wild game. And you go, okay, dude, you keep talking about this music. Send it to me. I want to hear it. So I send you this demo. It's got vocals on it. Everything sounds good. Everything's great. And you call me because you can't listen to it while you're on the phone with me.
Yeah.
So you hang up, and about 4 minutes later, which is hilarious because it's about 30 seconds shorter than the song, you call me back and you go, do you want me to be honest with you? And I go, of course. And he goes, I wouldn't play that on the radio. And I asked you, I said, why not? And you go, because it doesn't sound like anything. And I yelled into the phone, that's the fucking point. And you go like this, you go, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I would play it then. Yeah, that was my very easy go. There's this long, awkward pause, and you go, yeah, no, you're right. That's a good point. Like, maybe I would play it then. Because, I see what you're saying now. Because, my shit doesn't sound like any band. Even now, I wrote this music almost 10 years ago, and still, nobody on the radio sounds like this. So that's how I know I'm onto something, is because I have an original sound.
Yeah.
But, dude, you were so honest. I loved it. I wasn't even mad.
Yeah.
I yelled, but I wasn't mad.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you're just not, like, listen. And then you were like, oh, yeah, no, that's a good point.
Okay.
So where I'm going with this is, like, let's take you back to 2001. You're running Loud and Local. Shit's hot. When people, because I'm hoping that people can take what we're talking about now and they can extrapolate this as if it's an analogy and understand how to execute on this wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take you back 2001. Loud Local's kind of at its peak. Some random local band hits you up. Play our record. What are you looking for?
That's not the way to do it. Play my record. No.
I'm
but just
I'm intentionally blunting.
They
this.
submit.
Yeah. I'm blunting the shit out of this.
That's okay.
But because I don't want to get into the politics and how to approach blah blah blah.
Yeah.
There's plenty of internet articles that you can read about that.
Yeah.
Is what I'm more interested in is the human being who has the power to make the decision whether I'm going to play this on the radio or not.
Yeah.
What were you looking for when X, Y, or Z band approached you or sent you or submitted whatever verbiage, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What were you looking for in order for you to give it the green light?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a piss while you answer this question. I'll still be able to hear you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So the first thing that I always look for, and I'm at a professional radio station. I've got to meet kind of the formatical requirements. So I'm, to play a urban rap song on 93X at the time would have been just, crazy. So, you've got to, kind of fit the format. But on Loud and Local, I actually had a little bit more freedom as far as the edge, the width of the boundaries, if you will. So I could play some softer things, or I could play some rappier things, or I could play some heavier things, or I could play some lighter things. But the first thing would be just the sound of the CD. Was it on a cassette tape in your garage? I could hear that and say, no, this ain't going to work. Or was it like at least semi-professionally done? And some people sent in something really, really polished. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that would be number one, is just the overall sound quality. And then number two was the content and the music. So can the drummer drum? Can the singer sing? Does it have a hook? Does it, if it doesn't have a hook, is it at least interesting for 3 minutes? that kind of thing. So it just all kind of had to click. You could have a polished CD, but it was somebody's, maybe mommy and daddy had 10 grand to give you to go make a CD. And the music was pure garbage. So that would get you disqualified. So it was the sound of the recording, the quality of the music. I'm sorry, the quality of the music, the sound, the quality of the actual song itself, and the musicianship. And then thirdly, like, are you in the scene? Are you doing something? Are you playing gigs? Are you even fucking relevant at this point? So those are kind of like my 3 screening criteria. And I will say I felt bad because I know even a shitty CD in a garage on a cassette still took a lot of fucking balls to try and then to mail it to somebody. And I would always try not to, crush souls and dreams. But if it wasn't there yet, it wasn't there yet. And I'd just say, hey, sorry, it's not quite there. Keep at it and send me your next recording. But for the most part, yeah, it was just the overall quality, the sound, the musicianship. I think I've told this story before, but American Head Charger's first demo sucked. I mean, the sound quality was awful. The song was okay, but it was something fucking new that was like, I gotta air this just to see what the fuck happens. Like, this is pretty fucking cool. It's industrial metal in Minneapolis. Like, no one's ever fucking sent me anything like this. And it's kind of where we need to fucking go because just a touch. But Limp Bizkit and Korn,
smooth. This is super smooth.
All that shit was happening at the time Head Charge was happening. And so that's the other thing too, is kind of like that early 2000s genre, the sound kind of had to be relevant too. That's kind of, I think maybe that's why I was trying to get to you at, is like, it doesn't sound like what's going on. And
yeah, which is my point, because if my theory is on that, just to insert what I was trying to explain, which I eventually explained to you, is that I made that mistake of being in 7 months of nothing and trying to create music that was already on the radio. And then I was in Solace and Ashes trying to create music that was like Kill Switch Engage.
Right.
So by the time
you're ahead of the curve, or you're way behind, or you just don't fit anywhere. But sometimes that shit, like Tool, doesn't fit anywhere.
Right, exactly. And the best thing you could possibly have in the industry is an original sound.
Yeah.
If it's not popular
Tool
now...
is a king because they have that fucking... That's their lane.
Coheed and Cambria is a perfect example too.
Another one, yep.
Metallica was a perfect example. Metallica actually is on one of their own fucking interview. I think it's in the box set, or maybe it was a VH1 Behind the Music thing, where when they were coming up, they were like, well, where do we fit in? Like, we're not like Motley Crue, we're not like Def Leppard, we're not like Pantera, we're not like any other band that's coming up. And it took a while for them to understand that's good.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to sound like all these other people. You don't want to fit in. You want to just be great and do your own thing. That's how you become a truly, truly original band. And maybe you're not going to become the next Muse. Maybe you're not going to be headlining Target Center. Maybe you're not going to do all those things. But you will probably have a more fulfilling artistic career doing something truly original than trying to be like Papa Roach, where you're literally just following the trend. Oh, well, rap metal's famous, so let's do fucking
with the
Cut
times.
My Life into Pieces.
Yeah.
And then as soon as rap metal died, they did that like power ballad song.
Tread easy, because I love Papa Roach, and they're a local band in Sacramento.
Hey man, listen, I ain't actually shitting on Papa Roach. I know. What I'm saying is
We've talked about this.
Musically, I think there's a lot more bands who have had less success that are more...
Well, Kiss tried disco in the 70s, for fuck's sake, right? Like, you have to have a
That's
little
actually
bit
kind
of
a perfect example.
Yeah.
Actually, no. If you were going to shoot,
made for loving you.
If you were going to shoot my theory down, that's the greatest example of all time to do it with. But I still would say that Kiss is the exception, not the rule.
Yeah,
because they were just trying to make money at that point,
and they were fucking. Doing something, they had their own lane. No one looked or acted or sounded like Kiss.
Exactly,
either.
And they had already earned their artistic integrity.
Yeah.
So when they ditched the makeup and went 80s power ballad and shit, and like,
oh no, tears are falling.
It's even they will admit that was a regrettable period. If I have Gene Simmons on the podcast,
he'll tell you.
I will ask him that. I'll go, do you regret this period of Kiss's career? And he'll go, yeah, we shouldn't have done any of that.
Vince Neil, say what you will about Motley Crue nowadays, because that's just embarrassing to watch.
You mispronounced Vince Neil.
Vince Neil?
Meal?
Vince Neil. But even he, back in the day, said that Motley Crue Theater of Pain was so bad, I want to send a $9.95 refund to everyone who bought it. Like, without Home Sweet Home, that album, garbage. But anyway,
they wrote Home Sweet Home and then mailed in the rest of the record.
Yeah, they were just coked out and whatever.
But my only point is, like, just get an original sound.
Mm-hmm.
Be ahead of the curve.
Do it, and
you will feel at the end of your career more musically and spiritually fulfilled than if you were to
try too hard, too fast.
Just be a corporate style musician where this is what's popular now, so this is the style of music we're going to make, because you're not a real artist.
Yeah, well, that's what, like,
you know that.
Record labels operate that way. Let's say Gautier has that song. We need a Gautier kind of band. You know what I mean? Like, one-hit wonders come out and they're like, fuck, we need to sound like that. We need a band like this. So if you look back at the 2000s, between 2002 and 2010, there was a Chevelle and Trapped and fucking like all these bands sounded the same because that's what was selling tickets at X Fest and Ozfest, and they all just. But it was a sound that hadn't been tapped before. But, you know, like Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, they all led the way on that. But originally they were the ones. But I was going to say, too, like Skywind and Coup de Grace come to mind, where all the players in those bands.
Coup de Grace, one of the greatest band names of all time.
It is.
Seriously, that's a great band name.
Yeah, it is. And I love, like, Mark Chaussee was on the drums or on the guitar. Like, every player in that band was a fucking superstar. And kind of like Down and Above was like that. They just mastered their fucking craft. Like, the bass player was amazing, guitar player, drummer. So everyone was great. And like Wally and Skywind, I remember them as the first one. They hired a manager. And the guy called me, took me to lunch, and said, hey, I want to give you this demo and this press
You're talking
kit.
about Bill Berry?
Yeah. Yeah.
I learned a lot from Bill Berry, who ended up ripping a lot of people off.
That's what I had heard. It didn't end well. But for me, it stood out as
one of the most legit managers of all time.
Yeah, but he was a band manager that, at the time was with Skywind, and at the time I was like, I wish every band in town could fucking do it like this.
Honestly, you know what's crazy is Joe Spanbauer gave me my first shot. But
love Joe too.
But my own band members, this
is good.
When things went south with my first band, 7 Months of Nothing, my own band members got in Joe's ear.
Yeah.
So when I formed my second band, Solace and Ashes, Joe didn't want to work with me at first.
Oh, God.
So I had to go across town, literally, because Joe was more the Minneapolis guy. Shannon had already retired, Shannon Brettel. And so Bill Berry was the next booking agent. So I went and met with Bill Berry. Bill Berry straight up dissed me to my fucking face. Here's what he said. He goes, I wanted to work with you in your last band, and you blew me off. So fuck you.
Ooh.
And he didn't say it exactly like that, but that was his point.
Yeah.
That's basically what he said. And I went like this. I went, fair enough, but hear me out. I said, I didn't blow you off. Is what I said is I can't draw in your town. I don't have any fans there.
Yeah.
So you want me to come do something in your town I'm not capable of.
Yeah.
And we had a long conversation that went on just like that.
Yeah.
And at the end of that conversation, he eventually was like, all right, I'll give you a shot. I didn't get the fucking green light. He's like, I'll give you a shot.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, Solace and Ashes played a hell of a lot more over at The Rock than we did at Star Central under Joe's umbrella.
Sure.
But then we started killing it over at The Rock, and Joe was like, hey, man, that's not the same band I seen however many months ago. And I was like, yeah, I fucking warned you.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, we didn't have a booking agent. This was the first part of my career where we did our own thing, and I became the booking agent. And then that evolved into Dying Euphoria, and we started doing some real cool shit. But one of the things that fucked us up in all of these bands is we never had the ability to capture our live vibe and our live performance on record. So every time I submitted a record to 93X, it got rejected. And I never once got mad at you. I never once got ego blasted. Every single time, I just came back and said, apparently we're not good enough yet. We got to get better. It's the same thing that the sports. It's the same thing in the sports.
You could have worked me over a little. Like,
but I wasn't
if
that
I don't
guy.
play it, it's probably because I also got like a dozen CDs a week at one point, and I had 30 minutes,
but
and
I
could play
that guy,
six.
Patrick.
I could play 6 5-minute songs, and or 6 3-minute songs, and 2 minutes of talk or whatever. But
I just wasn't that guy, though. I wanted to make it on the merits of the music.
No,
if I had to sell the band, then the band wasn't good enough. The band should sell itself.
Yeah.
I should give you a CD and your mind should be blown. And if your mind isn't fucking blown, then we're not doing something.
And that's true. I would sit down with the stack and I would play and I would know in like 10 seconds, nope. And I had an intern, they're like, you're fucking harsh. You're not even listening. And I'm like, I know in 10 seconds what I got. And this was recorded in a garage on a cassette tape. Not even gonna, even if the music is like the best song ever written after that, I can't air this.
It's important. It's important because I had a kid come on the podcast. I'm not going to name his name. Everybody's going to figure it out because everybody already fucking knows. All the loyal listeners.
Yeah, and I hate to sound like a dick like that, but like literally,
you're not being a dick, and I'm going to tell you why you're not being a dick.
Right.
Because I had a kid on the podcast. I'm not going to say his name, but all the loyal listeners already know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He claimed his band was way up here
yeah, I remember
with the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
And I told him he's fucking high.
Mm-hmm.
He's out of his fucking mind if you think you're up there.
Yeah.
We ended the podcast on a great vibe. We had fun.
Yep.
He left here, told me I had a great time. I hope you would be willing to have me on again. And I said 100%, of course.
Yeah.
Because it was a great podcast.
Yeah.
However, he went home and he festered and festered and festered until he had a wound that further festered.
Mm.
To the point where, and I should add, as soon as he left, I sent him a very long text message.
Yeah.
Here's all the things we talked about, and here's everything you can do to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And if your band members aren't willing to follow you down this journey, then we need to have a very different conversation, which meant anybody with a brain knew what I was saying is you got to leave that band.
Yeah, yeah.
He eventually left that band. He has now joined a significantly better band.
Okay.
A
Good.
legit band.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more happy and
It's got
excited.
a happy ending.
So he listened.
Cool.
He accepted my advice, and he moved on.
Yep.
However, he has blocked me. He won't respond to my text messages.
Yeah.
I'm dead to him.
That's hard. I mean, that's what I was...
Why is this important? Why am I saying this? Here's the point. You did that to me.
Mm.
You said these exact words to me. And I didn't hate you. You and I are better friends today because of it.
Yeah.
Because I was able to go, Patrick is a fucking man, and he's going to tell me the fucking truth. Because he's a pro. He's been there. He's done that. He's seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he criticizes me, I don't think, fuck Patrick.
Yeah.
What I think is, I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah.
My shit ain't good enough. So let's figure out how to put in more work, how to become better, more efficient. So even if I don't have more hours to work, how do I become more efficient at writing better songs, at becoming a better performer? Then all of a sudden, years later, here I am, independent of Patrick's judgment, killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it. Like I'm paying a fucking mortgage off this shit. I'm not worried about what anybody thinks anymore.
Yeah.
And you and I are actually better friends now.
Yeah.
But the reason we're better friends is because I trusted your honesty and your integrity.
Yeah. And
other people aren't that strong. And that's what I'm alarming to.
Yeah.
I think I said that. Yeah, that's what I'm alarming to, is that the fact that when I give that kind of criticism to other people, or that kind of critique or that kind of advice, they take that shit so personally, dude. Like I'm attacking their character as a human.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
what I was saying earlier. Like,
here's the thing: if you're that fucking sensitive, you don't belong in the music business.
Yeah.
Because if you think I'm harsh, you have no fucking idea what this business is about to do to your psyche.
Yeah, and it's someone's blood, sweat, and tears that you're rejecting too, and I get that. But there was times where even a CD that didn't have the greatest quality, songwriting wasn't 100%, like the musicianship wasn't there, but I saw him every fucking Sunday or Saturday night playing. There was a few sympathy plays, spins that I'd give because I'd be like, I recognize, like, and I even remember saying this. I'd go on the air and say, song quality on this one, not the greatest, but hey, it's a local band. They're kicking ass. They're playing next Sunday night at whatever, the Ryans. Go check them out. Here's so and so.
So you respected the work ethic as much as the song quality.
I would take a hit on the quality and the musicianship if sometimes you were just out there killing it. And Sunset Black was one of those where their song was recorded poorly. I saw them at Ryan's or 4th Street Station or whatever it was called, and I was like, fuck, man, these guys are awesome, but they just didn't capture that magic in a bottle on their recording. But I fucking played them, and then I started just plugging their gigs, and then they got a good CD, and then I played the shit out of them. But that did happen too, so I didn't shoot down everyone for those reasons, but there was times where I made some exceptions. But
because I think this is true still to this day, is your recording needs to sound good, and that doesn't mean spend a lot of money.
You don't have to have the but just decent, just something I can air. But if there's snap, crackles, and pops on it, like, I can't fucking do it.
Unless that's on purpose, right? Like, unless you're doing like a 70s vinyl side.
It's like, you know, when we plugged in and there was a hiss or just the...
When we started the podcast and there was that high-pitched hum that we couldn't get rid of. It's gone now.
But like, if it was just bam, 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 and then the singer's like... and the guitars and the... Like, you can't hear the lyrics of the song because the mix is so awful. Like, you can't do that on radio. You just can't. No. So, I mean, those were the ones that I would listen for 5 seconds and go, no fucking way. But if I remember the name of them and then I see them out playing, and a year later they come up to me with a demo and I kind of remember it or something, I'll go, oh, this was the band that was so shitty. And then I listen and I go, oh, okay. They spent $800 in a studio as opposed to going to grandma's garage, you know.
And I guess what I'm trying to do is put a bow on this idea, right?
Yeah, and we got to wrap it up too, because that's
what I'm saying, right? So to put a bow on this idea, I guess is what I'm saying is, like, if there's a band that is one of the greatest live bands, but they have a shitty recording, but you know they're putting in the work, and you can kind of extrapolate this idea. They're gonna be there eventually.
Yeah.
You're possibly willing to play that record. But they could have the greatest fucking CD sound in the world, but if the song sucks, then you've never heard of them and they're not playing out. So, for example, my band right now, my record sounds fine.
Oh, you're meticulous.
If
so
you
I know.
don't like the sound, if you don't like the song, if you think the song sucks, and since my band isn't playing out, you've never heard of us, you're like,
and what do I know?
Whatever.
Sometimes the audience goes, "This is a great song." I'm like, "Fuck, okay, I thought it sucked."
There was a band in this town that still plays around every once in a while, and has something sand in the, like, Raising Sand or Rising Sand or some stupid fuck. It's a terrible fucking band name.
Yeah,
but they play like one show every 5 to 10 years. I swear to God, and they play big shows. But they've never become a good band. They've never become a real band.
Yeah.
And nobody ever in my life has been like, hey, have you heard Raising Sand?
Right. Well, it could be experiential kind of band, like Fish and Grateful Dead. Like, some of
Fish played their fucking asses off, bro.
I know. I'm just saying there's some bands that have like a following, and it's about the atmosphere and the people that are there. It's like, sometimes the music is just background noise for that kind of event.
Which you can't do every 5 to 10 years.
No, you can't.
So basically, here's the point: is have a good sounding record, and that doesn't mean you need to spend a lot of money. But what that does mean is that if you're not capable of doing that in your own home, spend the fucking money.
Well, yeah, and don't do a 5-song demo. I only need one. Like, I'm never going to play through all 5 of your songs. Spend enough money to do one track and send it in. That's all you need. And then it takes several spins, as we'd say, or several airplays for people to kind of catch on. So I'm going to play that one. I'm not going to play one song one week, second song the next week, the third song the other week. No, I'm going to stick with one so it resonates with people.
That's why they call it a single.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're talking
just
about
send in a single.
This is the point I'm really
right.
trying to make here. We're talking about the music business, which I have said since I've been fucking 14 years old. Even I was wise enough at 14. I said, there's more business in the music business than there is music in the music business.
Yeah.
And you guys need to understand that as young musicians.
Yeah.
There is more business in the music business than there is music in the music business.
Yeah.
That sounds like a word salad, but it's fucking not. That is pearl level of wisdom.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm giving you pearls here.
Yeah.
This is value.
And we live at a time where anyone can do anything with the electronic media that we have nowadays.
And everything we're saying is an analogy. Yes, we're talking about early 2000s radio, but every single thing we're saying here can be extrapolated as an analogy to modern day streaming.
Sure.
You do not need to spend $10,000 recording 8 fucking songs that no one's going to listen to. Spend $1,000 on one fucking song and release it online to where it sounds great and it's the best song you've ever written, and you promote the shit out of that.
Yep.
And then 1 month later or 2 months later, you do another one.
Yeah.
Because this is how the world works.
Be professional about it. You know, submit it, follow up again, and then maybe ask, what can I do? What needs to happen to get you to play my stuff?
But I'm literally talking about streaming at this point. I'm taking our analogy and I'm applying it in modern day. There's some people who can't extrapolate. There's just, my old buddy Dalton used to say this, right? There's two types of people. People that can extrapolate on incomplete information.
Fuck you.
But the crowd, if the listeners are, they should be finishing the sentence, and those who can't. Right. There's people who can extrapolate on incomplete information, and those who can't.
Right.
That's why I put that long pause in there.
Right.
Because the listeners should be able to finish that fucking sentence, and if you couldn't finish that fucking sentence, you're the person who can't extrapolate on incomplete information. Why am I saying this, and why am I ranting on this? Is because what this man is fucking telling you is that this is how you succeed on streaming. You don't need to record $10,000 worth of music in December so you can try to release that shit in March. Is what you should be doing is spending $1,000 on one fucking song, releasing it in December, and then doing it again in February, and then again in April. And if you do this properly, by the end of the year, you will have released an entire fucking album, and each one will have gotten their possible dues. And if you're really fucking smart, the first 3 songs are your quote-unquote singles, like they did in the early 90s. Metallica, the first song on that record, not the best song, it was Enter Sandman. Then the second, actually, I think the first song was Holier Than Thou, but doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter. Then they had Unforgiven. Then they had Holier Than Thou. Then they had fucking Unforgiven. Then they had... The point is...
Drop your mic. Let's go.
The fucking point is put in the goddamn work, make a good sounding record, write great songs, and perform them regularly. If everybody worked as hard as the issue,
repetition counts.
If everybody worked as hard as the issue, and Uncle Daddy, every single band in this town would already be world famous. Like, we would be the next Seattle from the grunge era, when you had Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, all these bands blow up at once. The LA scene from the 80s, 16 bands all blow up and have #1 records. This is the problem with this town. And we didn't have this problem when you were here, because we had people like you that were willing to give these kinds of advice, give these kinds of critiques, give them airtime, show up at their shows, promote them, talk about them on the radio, so on and so forth. That shit's dead. Now we have the internet. We have podcasts, and we have streaming. If you guys aren't putting in the work, nobody's going to give a fuck about your band. Any last comments? Any last questions? We're going to wrap this up because we're going to go to Surly and we're going to have a beer and we're going to have some food.
Yep, that's the plan.
We'll give it about a minute or two, but you fucks better drop in these fucking questions fast as fuck, because it's starting to get chilly in the basement again here. This is I told you when you showed up, one of the first things I told you is this is one of several last podcasts here.
Studio time.
I'm LLCing. I'm starting a company. I think I found a spot. I got to jump through some fucking loopholes. Honestly, man, this is with 400 subscribers versus Joe Rogan's 10 million. What I'm about to do is my equivalent of him getting his own comedy bar, whatever.
He's putting something up in Austin.
I'm doing something similar on a much smaller scale, like a 0.1% of what he's doing. That's why I'm not willing to talk about it. But this is one of the last podcasts that's going to happen in this spot. We're going to do a Super Bowl podcast next weekend, me and Scotty Ball, and maybe a couple other guests. If you guys want to come down, hit me up.
I might text you during that.
That's fine. But yeah, this dude, I'm so excited, dude. I'm so happy you did this, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I'm 3 months late. I was supposed to be here in September.
You still have whiskey in your glass?
No, I'm good. No.
We're gonna do a little cheers,
dude.
We're gonna do a little cheers. You fuck.
I got things to do. Just a splash, dude. Yeah, thank you. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. We're gonna do a little.
I got
cheers.
Food and beer to go drink and eat.
Yeah, me too. I'm coming with you. You fuck.
Well, yeah. Okay, let's talk about that.
Cheers. I love you, man. I really do. From the bottom of my heart, you've meant a lot to me, dude.
Yep, I appreciate you.
All right, I don't see any questions. We're wrapping this up. I love you guys. Let's see if the outro works right.
Yeah.
After fucking months of updates, I had to redo all my gear in 48 hours. I had to redo everything.
Yeah.
I can't believe any of this is actually working.
It's working?
I'm just so grateful. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I can't believe this many people
Thanks for
came and
watching.
hung out with us and watched us. And
Yeah, good to see you all.
And I just can't believe. I mean, we haven't done a podcast in almost 6 months, and I'm just blown away that basically everybody came back and hung out. So thank you guys. We love you. I think this is gonna work. We're out of here.